The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
A Jets analyst has revealed the top roster questions that will define the 2025 Jets season. That analyst, he joins us. Frankie V, let's talk Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started.
Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby. We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Brees Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Here we go. Show number 2 on the day. Click the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Another quick reminder to lock in your ticket to join us for Jets Panthers on October 19th. If you want to sit in section 129 with us, you have till Friday to lock in your spot. And if you are one of the first 75 people to lock in your spot, you could join us on the field after the game. So lock in your spot. Click the link in the description for the video you're watching to purchase your ticket today. Let's say hello right now to the co-founder of uStadium. He's the co-host of the Gangs All Here podcast, the Jets podcast with the New York Post. Frankie V joins us right now. Frankie, happy Monday, my friend. Happy minicamp week to you as well.
Yeah, Jake, happy minicamp week. I see the guys out there taking some pictures. You know, they're looking good, man. They're looking lean and mean. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Been a little boring, I would say, the last couple weeks, last month. Not like last year, complete opposite, but you know, as you do and I do, I feel like we keep ourselves busy usually. So yeah, thanks for having me on again.
Well, it's interesting. So today is the physical, and it's also like the media day for the players. And you mentioned it, the Jets have been posting some content here. Here's Brees Hall in what looks like the Doctor Strange portal behind him at
Ooh.
Jet Media Day today at the facility.
That's tough. I like that. That's a cool pick. It's kind of scaring me, but I like it.
This screams 1,500 all-purpose yards, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Yes. This also screams we may have to get Gary on the show later and ask him if time travel's real. I'm kind of getting those vibes here too. But yeah, this screams something. Screams something.
I love it. A lot to talk about with you. How are you feeling about this roster right now? We're going to get into the specific things you tweeted about. I thought it was a good conversation, so we'll go through each point. But overall thoughts on where the Jets are at headed into the final kind of portion of the offseason, because then they go away for the summer, they come back, and the season really starts to get underway with training camp.
Yeah, so to start, let's start with the positives. I am very bullish on this year's defense. I said this on last time I was on. I think this defense, first and foremost, they're going to fly to the football, and that right then and there will cover up a lot of weaknesses that they may have in terms of maybe, defensive line depth and, safety depth, etc. When you run to the football, your linebackers are running sideline to sideline. We have a few guys that do that. That covers up for a lot of deficiencies. Now, I don't even think we have that many deficiencies. I like what we've done at safety. I also think that Jermaine being back is going to be a huge, huge plus for this defense. Wilkes is running the show. I liked what I heard from him last time he spoke to the media. Jake, a lot of odd fronts. He wants to confuse the offenses. He doesn't want you to have a tick on what they're doing. I think Sauce can only really get better from what he did last year. Not saying it a bad year, but for Sauce's standards, it was just a subpar year. I think he'll play harder, especially if he doesn't have a new deal. You'll really maximize him out for a season. I think the defense is going to be very, very good. I do. I think they're going to be in that when it's all said and done and we look at that PFF defensive ranking, forget about yards allowed because that's a swayed stat because of depending upon how many points you score. I think we could flirt in that, 5, 6, 7 range. Don't be surprised. The Jets are ranked the sixth best defense next year on PFF's, ranking. So I really am bullish on the defense. I have some questions about the defense. One of my questions is specifically about the ends. Where I have some trepidation is with the offense, obviously. Again, I want to know, do we have, or who is our second and third pass catcher on this team? If I had to say, it's going to be Mason Taylor, our second pass catcher after Garrett. Obviously, he'll be our first main pass catcher. Who's going to be the third? Justin Fields traditionally doesn't throw to his running backs. On Gangs All Here last show we had, or 2 shows ago, Kaz brought up a stat. Don't quote me on this. It might need to be fact-checked, but I believe Fields has 2 passing touchdowns his entire career to running backs. I was stunned by that, and I may be misquoting it. It was like a month ago we had this show. But to make a long story short, we had a big discussion about this, and Fields really doesn't target his backs all that much. So I think the people in that, like Brees is going to go off camp as a pass catcher. It's possible if Tanner Engstrand can scheme him open. But Fields really is first read tight end underneath. First read, which for us may actually work out well because we have a great first read in Garrett, and we have Mason Taylor, who should be a formidable pass catcher. That's a strength. He has great hands. So if he could sit in those zones, Fields will find them. But we need something else. Like there's got to be, in the passing game, I'm saying, there's got to be an extra dynamic there. I don't know where it's going to come from. It could come from the play caller. It could come from Fields getting better. It could come from Malachi Corley jumping in and giving you value. We don't know, but it's got to come from somewhere else. The passing offense is going to be below average for sure. And the running game, I don't know how much read option they want to do. I am a big read option guy. And if we want to make the Jets great again, I can't put the hat on. If we want to make the Jets great again, you have to run the read option or the option read. People pronounce it both ways. I like the read option. Run the read option, meaning Fields either gives it or he keeps it. You make that D end or that D tackle stay firm, whether to go down on the back or to play contain with the quarterback keep. It's just the way you got to do it. By the way, if you want this hat, uStadium.com/store. Shameless plug. But yeah, Ben, it's time, Jake.
Do you think this helped or hurt hat sales, this being your new Twitter picture?
It's probably hurting a little bit. I mean, I thought I could, make hats sexy again, but no, not me. I'm not a hat guy. I have a weird shape, big head. I'm lucky my hair's decent. If not, I'd be really screwed. So yeah, the hats and me don't work. I should probably get somebody else. But you're getting a hat. You look good in hats, so we're sending you out a hat. So maybe you can help us out.
I appreciate it. A couple things for you. And we will get into your specific questions that I've been alluding to in a moment. But when you look at Tanner Engstrand and you look at where he is coming from with the Lions and what Justin Fields has been, 1 to 10, your level of confidence on guys being schemed open, RPOs being incorporated, what you want to see from a modern offense that can maximize Fields actually happening. And I bring this up because I was talking about this on my first show today. When Aaron Glenn comes out and says they want to let Fields play quarterback and they don't think he's ever had an opportunity to do that. Without saying it, they're saying they don't think he's been coached properly, because you wouldn't be saying that if you feel like he's been coached up and has had every opportunity to show what he could do. So do you believe in this coaching staff here in June that they're going to be the team to unlock Justin Fields? To use the word unlock, which is the word that Aaron Glenn also has used publicly when talking about Fields in the past.
All right, so to answer that 1 to 10 question, I'm at a 6. And the only reason I'm not higher is because I think it's really the onus of this offense is really going to be on Tanner Engstrand. He's not going to get much help from Aaron Glenn because Aaron Glenn's going to worry about other things. He said it again. I'm not a defensive coach. I'm the CEO. I'm not going to worry about one side or the other. He's definitely not going to worry more about the offense than the defense, I'd assume, being a defensive coordinator at heart. I wish we had somebody else. Like, I wish there was an advisor or someone in there. And there are, but I wish there was like a vet in there just in case Tanner doesn't get it right away. But with that being said, why it's a 6 and not a 4? Because if that was the case, I'd usually give a 4 to a first timer in terms of confidence level. Dude, I like what Tanner says, man. I love listening to that guy. He's a football guy. He's got good energy, a little naive, but that's good. He's young. He's going to be a little naive. He's positive. He's, I loved his interviews that I've been listening. He's only had a few, but his dealings with the media has been really good, Jake. And I liked his phone call to Mason Taylor. Again, these are little things, but they're things. And I like what Ben Johnson has said about him. And apparently, he actually had a pretty big say in their passing game. Apparently. Everyone says that, right?
Well, he was the pass game coordinator. I would expect him to, no?
Yeah, but I wonder how much of that is Ben Johnson or how much of that was him. Is he the one that like put together the plans and then like Ben Johnson a few nights before was like, all right, cross this off. I'm going to do we'll take one of his out of 10 plays, or schemes. I don't know. But it sounds like, and then you have Detroit fans saying, well, why don't we bring him in as our OC? I mean, Detroit wanted a veteran there. We talked about that last show, so it didn't really make sense for them to bring Tanner. I think Tanner's like it's going to be, I don't want to say high risk, high reward, but I think there's more upside than there is downside for sure. So I'm at like a 6 in confidence level with him. I said this about, I don't know, maybe a few days ago to Nick in a space. I spent a little too much time in those things. I should probably get off, but they were asking about Tanner, and I'm like, guys, I think, and gals, I think he's my, favorite thing that we did this offseason is bring that guy in. The more I think about it.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. We're talking with Frankie V from uStadium, Gangs All Here podcast, New York Post. Father's Day is around the corner, so if you need a last-second gift, check out my merch store, jakeasman.com. In the merch store, though, we have 2 different type of hats that actually have dad in the name. So I want to do something fun on this show right here, right now. We will do a daily raffle, meaning at the end of this stream, I'll give away a Jake Asman AsManiac dad hat. That is what it's listed as in the merch store. It's the dad hat. So you pick the color. I have it right here in green. Also have it in black. But here's the AsManiac dad hat. So if you gift the membership or send in the required super chat, you're entered in Friday's mega raffle for the full-size Broadway Joe helmet and the daily raffle at the end of the show. Plus, we're giving away on Friday a Clyde Frazier jersey, Kevin Mawai jersey, Bart Scott jersey, all these items signed and authenticated. So with Father's Day right around the corner, let's give away a Jake Asman Show AsManiac dad hat to one lucky listener. Paul is the first person to gift the membership. He did it as the countdown ticker was starting. Paul Taxter in the raffle for 5. Johnny Zippo, Joshua Rod, Jersey Jet, Sam Massaro, and Bro B all receiving a channel membership there from Paul Taxter, who now has 5 entries in our daily raffle for the AsManiac dad hat at the end of the show. Quick super chat here from Peter, and then I want to get into Frankie's roster questions here. Peter writes in, we have $30 million in cap space. I'd like to see Lazard flip for a 7th and the Jets to sign Keenan Allen from the Bears. Don't want Amari Cooper. I would love to trade Allen Lazard. I also would like Keenan Allen. I think Keenan Allen is way less likely than even Lazard being traded. Your thoughts on this super chat, these comments here from Peter?
I agree with the Lazard flip for sure. I think just get something for him at this point. I do think if he plays though, he's gonna have some value on this team just by default. I'm 50-50 with Keenan. I'm because of the age variable. Like, you sign Keenan, is he gonna give you value really when this team does take off? But I do like him in that locker room, and he's still got game. But he's rumored to a few different places at this point. But I like that. I think that makes sense. Amari Cooper's kind of in that same regard to me as Keenan, sort of like aging vets, but they'll give you value because they were one time, premier wide receivers, wide receiver 1. So I'm not, gonna be mad at it.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna be able to sign Keenan Allen. They don't want anyone over 30. So I don't see it. Lazard I'd trade, but I don't know. I mean, I think they could get a 7th for him? I mean, it might have to be like we trade a 7th and get back a 6th, but at least you're moving up around.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you could get more than a 7th for Lazard. Honestly, I think you could definitely get a 6th. I think if you flirt it around, you might be able to even maybe get a 5th. I mean, Lazard had value a few years ago. A team might come in and say, "Hey, the Jets kind of screwed him up," or he didn't really fit that Nate Hackett system like he thought he did. We can work with him. But I think that if the Jets want to move Lazard, I think they could.
Let's get into now your top roster questions. This was inspired by a tweet you put out last night. You were already coming on the show, and I was like, why don't we break these down on the air? So your number one question.
I had a nice glass of wine before this tweet, by the way. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I'm checking the timestamp.
This is a wine inspired. What time was that? Was it midnight?
No, it was 9:54 p.m. yesterday, and I thought it was interesting because you had Sunday Night Baseball going on with the Yankees. You had the NBA Finals going on. It was a blowout, and you're thinking about the Jets in June. I love it. That to me makes you a real sicko Jet fan. That you got some Jets takes you're firing off on a Sunday night in June.
Well, you know what? I had a nice Italian Barolo wine. That was a gift, and that's a very earthly wine. Brings you to your roots, it says. So it actually brought me to my roots, my Jet fandom, Jake.
Well, your number one question to this, and I think it's spot on because this to me is the biggest player question about the season. Is Justin Fields worth keeping? Is he going to play well enough to be this team's quarterback beyond just this year, or are the Jets going to need to draft someone in all likelihood in round 1 next year? Your thoughts on Fields right now? Because I agree with you. I think when you're breaking down the state of the Jets and you're breaking down this season, so much of it is in fact about Justin Fields.
Yeah, man. Listen, to be honest, I think Fields, assuming he stays healthy, I think he's going to play well enough that you're going to have a portion of the fan base and a significant portion, not 10%. I'm saying 30 to 40% at least, that are going to be okay with bringing him back for another year. So I think Fields will play himself into a position where we'll be okay with him starting again next year, but fans will still want to draft a quarterback. So if I had to guess, I don't think Fields is going to, play himself to the bench or to the point that they're going to cut him next offseason. So I think he'll play good enough this year. He'll have moments, he'll have flashes. And once Tanner gets his feet under him, I think you'll start seeing those more and more. We haven't seen a quarterback like Justin Fields. We haven't. We've never had one at all.
No, I mean,
he can. Yeah,
he's gonna break every rushing record this franchise has had
by week 8, probably.
I mean, Geno Smith's rookie year has the rushing record in the season is 3-something. Fields is gonna shatter that.
Oh no, yeah, it might be before week 8. Yeah, it might be week 6. But the one thing I'll say when Tanner was speaking about Fields, he didn't look at him he didn't want to look at him, or put the perception out there that Fields is a running quarterback. He is a running quarterback to me, and I'm fine with it. Lamar Jackson's a running quarterback, and I'm fine with it. Cam Newton, to a degree, was also a running quarterback, although Cam could launch it. I'm fine with that. I really hope they come into the season and say, this guy, we're going to play him like the Ravens play Lamar Jackson. We're not going to try to put him back there 30 times a game. I don't want to see that. I don't. That's just me, though. That's my opinion. Let him run that RPO read option 20 times a game, 25, 30 times a game. You'll split that half carries, 15 for Breeze, 15 for me, or whatever Braylon gets. Sprinkle another 3 or 4 or 5 there. By the way, Braylon might be the guy that by the bye week, we're looking at and saying, we got to get this guy more involved because between the tackles, he's a beast, especially with Fields there. Fields is going to help these running backs out. I don't think enough people realize it. A running quarterback, a scrambling quarterback opens things up for the running backs every time. Every time. There's always a threat of them going. The ends need to keep contained. They're not crashing in. The edges are wider. The game gets longer for the running back. It's a fact. It's been like that forever.
Observation number 2, or roster question number 2 is coming up. But right now, I believe we have to do something that we don't often get a chance to do around here. We head live to the attic where it appears like there could be a man in prime form taking a late afternoon slumber.
Breaking sports news on the Jake Asman Show.
Beast, you up?
It's my nap time. I've been on my feet since 7 a.m.
But you called into the show earlier and you were sitting in the attic.
Yeah, well, hey, that's called hard work.
Sitting on your ass and calling into a YouTube
Not
show?
Hall once said these words. Hey, good things will come. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do. And remember, Chico, always remember.
Rejected. Sorry.
Nah, I don't have time to listen to the end of that, man. I got to let Beast take a nap.
He's in typical nap form, just on the side with the phone out.
His timeline doesn't make sense, though, because he called into my first show, so he hasn't been on his feet since 7 a.m. because he called in sitting in the chair he normally sits in on the first show today.
How's he even hear you from where he's sitting?
I don't know.
He's lying. It's kind of interesting, right?
Party with Peg and Artie with a super chat. This is 2 raffle tickets. Reminder for those two to again, Father's Day inspired giveaway at the end of the show. We'll raffle off an AsManiac dad hat for one lucky listener. Peg and Artie are in that for 2 with this super chat. Frankie, knowing how bad they were coached last season, is it fair to say Michael Clemens might still have an upside?
No, I wouldn't call it an upside. But I think Michael Clemens with Jermaine Johnson being back and taking less snaps won't get exposed or will be able to come in on limited reps, and by preserving more energy because he's not on the field all the time, you might get better moments out of him. But Clemens, listen, we got what we got out of that guy. What, he's a 4th round pick. I mean, he's a 5th defensive lineman on a team that can play 30% of snaps. Not like last year, he's playing 60, 70% of snaps.
He's playing too much. Yep.
Yeah. And it wasn't his fault necessarily. Jermaine went down. Hassan Reddick wasn't around. I mean, I don't blame the guy. It's not his fault. You played him. I mean, but I wouldn't look at him and think upside, to be honest. He's not a bad play. He's not a terrible player, though. Like, I think there's an assumption, like, he's not terrible to the point that he can't play. He can play just 25% of snaps, not 65, in my opinion.
Ralphie, he stinks in Jake Asman voice. Thank you, Ralphie. Chris says, best show on YouTube. Absolutely agree. Thank you, Chris. Always appreciate your support. Julian, best show on YouTube. People seem to like Beast trying to nap as their content in June, Frankie. Go figure. Another take from you here that we will get into. Once again, this was on Frankie's Twitter account. I have the whole list. I have the tweet, but if I put it up on the screen, I don't want to spoil it for those watching live. So I'll just break it down. Number 2 for you in your top 5 roster questions the Jets must answer in 2025 are Will McDonald or Jermaine Johnson pass rushers you can confidently rely on in long yardage without a blitz. So expand on this thought on McDonald and Jermaine.
Simply put, it's 3rd and 14. We're playing in Kansas City. Do we need to send a blitz? Do we need to take one guy off our defensive? Do we need to take one less off the back to put him up front to give Mahomes an opportunity to find someone? Or can we rush with 4 guys? And I think it's up to those guys, those 2, to really answer that question. Because if we don't have to blitz, then we have more people in coverage. So that's something I don't know the answer to yet. Like 3rd and 14, do we trust Jermaine or Will McDonald to be able to get to Mahomes or Justin Herbert or Josh Allen without the need for a blitz? Can we rush 4? Might
be hard with Jermaine because he's coming off the injury this year.
Yeah, I agree. I don't even know. Jermaine was really never that player anyway. He's not like that kind of end. To begin with. So yeah, I wouldn't depend on him in that regard for sure. I guess it's a Will McDonald question at the end of the day. I don't know. I don't even want to pretend like I do. I've heard Will McDonald has put on some pounds and still looks explosive. I think the kid's a freak. If he's coached up right, I think he could be put in those situations and succeed. I don't think the Jets will do that though. They're gonna feel it out. Wilkes is probably going to want to send the house in some regard or some sort of blitz package he'll put together. But remember, the more you blitz, the less guys you have in coverage, less guys you have in this at the second and third level to cover zones, to cover players. So it'll be interesting to see what Wilkes does. I think early on they're going to blitz like crazy, Jake. I think week 1 against Rodgers.
That should be the game plan. Like, it should be specific to who they're playing. I think that was a frustrating aspect of the old coaching staff. Felt like it was, we're only doing it this way. And it's like, wait a second. There should be an adjustment based on the opponent. Rodgers, first game, new players he's working with, test his mobility, test out his comfortability in the new offense, send the house on him. You know, you're playing Josh Allen, you're probably not going to blitz as much, right? Like, I think every game plan should be specific for who they're playing. I agree with you. I want to see Quincy and Sherwood blitz a lot. Yes. I think they're two of the faster players in the league. And to your point, you know, let's see what Will McDonald can now do, adding some weight. Let's see what Jermaine can do as he's coming back from the injury, because then all of a sudden you feel pretty good about your long-term defensive line if those guys pass with flying colors.
Yeah, man, I'll say this about Quincy Williams, dude. I've watched him a bunch. I watched him a bunch this offseason, too. I did some deep dives on him. That guy, when he wants to get to the point of attack, when he wants to come off the edge and hit whomever he has to hit, he's got enough flexibility in his dip. That kid can be a rusher. Like, I even think you could they're not going to do this, and I don't think they should, but I think they could. You could have him in a 3-point stance on the outside as an edge, and I think he'll find a way to get to the quarterback. Quincy's a wild card piece this year. I don't know what he's going to give us, but he could give us a lot. Now, I don't know if they want to keep him. They paid Sherwood. They're probably not. But, man, guys like that, you need those guys that just fly all over the place and set the tone. And Quincy's definitely that. Now, I think he could take it a step further. I think he could have a 7-8 sack year this year. For sure. He definitely can. It's just, are they going to put him in those positions?
You want some Jets breaking news, or as close to it as you could kind of get in the month of June?
We have Jets breaking news in June. All right.
Well, it's the official schedule for minicamp. Media at practice tomorrow, 12:10 Eastern. Head coach Aaron Glenn speaks to the press, 2 p.m. Player media availability, 2:15 p.m. So that's the schedule tomorrow. Wednesday, coordinator media availability, 10:40. Media at practice, 12:10. Coordinator media availability, 2 o'clock. So either Engstrand or Wilkes will speak in the morning. The other will speak in the afternoon. Players speak at 2:15. One final Aaron Glenn presser Thursday at 2. Media at practice before that at 12:10. Players at 1:15. Off the summer we go. So as of now, the Jets are planning on having 3 days of minicamp and not canceling the last day like a lot of other teams around the league have done. So we will hear from Glenn. We will hear from the coordinators. I'd imagine they'll make Fields available one last time before the Jets
they're not doing
that.
They're not doing that last day where they give him off like that Thursday, right? They're not doing that, you're saying?
But they haven't said it yet. Right now it's a scheduled practice, but things change.
Listen, to be honest, I hope they don't. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. I think Aaron Glenn's not going to want that. Players are going to hate it, but hey, tough shit.
Who cares? It's one day.
Playoffs in a long time.
This team sucks. They need more practice time. They got new coordinators, a new head coach. They shouldn't cancel that last day.
No. You'll tell the players you'll be okay when you go home after practice and you look at your bank account. You'll be smiling. So get the hell out there.
Amen.
That's really it.
Amen. I'm with you. All right. Next observation here. Or I keep calling it observations, but next take that you had when you were sipping your wine last night. Number 3. What's Breece's upside? Is he RB1 or a receiving based 1B in a timeshare?
Yeah. Is he Jonathan Taylor? Is he Saquon Barkley upside wise, or like 80% of those guys? Or is he an Alvin Kamara, a Jahmyr Gibbs, Bucky Irving? They're kind of using him like that in Tampa. That's the question. I don't know. I think we'll find out this year. But that's a question they have to answer, because if he's a 1B timeshare, Jake, there's going to be a team that might want him to be a workhorse or think they could turn him into one, and you're not going to re-sign him. That's just what's going to happen. Now, if he's a workhorse and he shows you upside of a Saquon, Jonathan Taylor-ish kind of back, and I'm not saying those guys, but 85, 90% of those guys, then you re-sign him. And I don't. Brees, I was a little bit disappointed this past year, not because of the plays he didn't make. It was the holes he wasn't seeing. I saw him numerous times go between the tackles and just be a little impatient and not really have a feel for what was open. Now, that could be a product of a new offensive line, a new offense, a quarterback you never played with. Everything's different, so it's tough. Sometimes you don't really know what your offensive linemen are doing. It's definitely part of it. But I need to see better vision between the tackles because we know what Brees can do in space. The guy is amazing in space. A little hampered last year, so kind of didn't finish everything that he usually does. But I mean, Brees is an awesome athlete, man. He's an awesome running back to a degree too.
This
give
is
him
a
that.
contract year for him, huge year.
Yes.
And like I think if this team's going to be any good, he's got to be one of the better players. Like I keep coming back to that. I'm glad they didn't trade him. His value was low. Let's see what he could do. If he has a great season, you worry about the contract and the franchise. I'll worry about that next year. Let's see what he could do this year with a new coaching staff that hopefully knows how to take advantage of what he does do really well.
Yeah. I don't know if you've heard anything on this. I haven't, but is Brees going to want to play the whole year without a contract? I mean,
What
these
choice
running
does he
backs.
have?
I mean, his choice is he can sit out and put the team's feet to the fire and say, "I'm not."
He's on his rookie contract. He can't do anything.
Jake, if he gets hurt though, he's screwing himself. So if you're his agent, let's say,
if he gets hurt, he gets hurt. I mean, he plays a position that's why you don't pay him long term because they do get hurt. So it's like it's the rules of engagement. He was a second round pick. The Jets owe him what they owe him for this year.
But if you're let's say let's put Jake in Brees's agent shoes, right?
If I was Brees's agent,
what would you tell him?
I would say go out there, have a great year on a team that's built to run the football and give you an opportunity to be the guy. You're not getting a contract right now, and you wouldn't want one. Bet on yourself, have a great year, and guess what? You're going to make a lot of money, if not from the Jets, then from someone.
I agree with you.
He has no leverage.
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, he does have a little leverage. He is Brees Hall. He has shown. I mean, I hate going back to this. This is a weird point, but remember last year going into the season in fantasy drafts, it was Christian McCaffrey and it was Brees Hall.
But then
the
he
season
was bad.
before that, his total yardage was wild for the team he was on. Like, I know he had a bad year, but I'm saying like
now's not the time to ask for a contract. First off, if the Jets offer him a contract,
devil's advocate with you, but
it'd be a lowball offer. He's not getting anything. There's no way you could give him a contract coming off the year he just had.
Yeah.
Who cares if he was supposed to be good last year? Aaron Rodgers and the Jets were supposed to win 12 or more games a year ago, and they sucked.
No, for sure, Jake. But, looking at a guy's upside, betting on a guy's upside like the Eagles did with Saquon, it sometimes
But
works.
Saquon is more proven than Brees Hall.
Before that, he was to a degree, definitely. But Saquon's younger. I mean, I don't know, man.
Saquon was more proven in the first couple of years of his career than Brees Hall has been, bar none. And also, Saquon Barkley was an unrestricted free agent. Brees Hall is a guy that's still on his rookie deal right now. Saquon had already been tagged. They knew that he was not going to be tagged for a second time.
Yeah. Jake, it's just like the season Brees had with Zach, where he had, 1,600 yards and, 9 touchdowns and 76 catches, like 4.5 yards a carry. I mean, to do that with Zach Wilson offense, that's insane, dude.
That's why we were so high on him. But
I know, but there's not many running backs, honestly, in the league now that could pull that off with that offense. I'm just saying. So, I know last year he crapped the bed to a degree. Maybe he was hurt, but I'm just saying, there's a story here to be had where maybe you want to sign him before the year plays itself out. I'm just saying, or maybe he wants to get it signed so he doesn't get hurt. I'm just saying, I think there's
but here's how that happens, though, right? Yeah. They could offer him an extension in the middle of the season if he's having a great year and he wants to just take the security and maybe give the Jets a bit of a discount and avoid, going through a contract dispute in the offseason if they put the tag on him if he's having a great year. But if you're Brees's agent, you're advising him to ball out so he can get paid, not hold out when you're under a rookie deal. It'll never happen.
Yeah. I mean, possibly. Yeah.
He'd be sabotaging his career.
Yeah, but I'll say this back to that observation point. What was it? 3. I do think we'll have an answer to that question. And if I'll tell you now, I don't want a 1B pass catching back. I want to, or unless, excuse me, Braylon Allen turns out to be that guy, your 1A workhorse, then is Brees gonna play your 1B? But we'll find out.
Super chat from Big Fella. So far, this is the best Frankie's been on the show. Wow.
Thanks, big fella. Thank you. Appreciate you, brother.
Big fella.
I've been positive this show. I'm looking at, I'm a new man, big fella. It's summer out. It's June. It's the best month in New York, although it's gloomy out. But I appreciate it, man. I'm trying.
Hit the like button. I'm seeing a comment from Jay Quest, who's enjoying a vacation. Only 99 likes. Let's get over 200. We have 260 people watching the show live right now. Thousands after the fact. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Reminder for those just tuning in, daily raffle prize, Father's Day is coming up. It's 1 week from yesterday. In my merch store, there's a bunch of items. 2 of them are the Asmaniac and Jake Asman Show dad caps. I'll give away an Asmaniac dad hat at the end of the show. Gift the membership to be entered. Right now, Paul Taxter's in for 5 and Peg and Artie are in for 2. If you gift the membership for the daily raffle prize, you're also automatically entered in Friday's raffle for the signed Bart Scott jersey, signed Kevin Mawai jersey, signed Clyde Frazier jersey, and signed full-sized Broadway Joe helmet. So we got a bunch of prizes we're giving away this week on the channel. All right, Frankie. Item number 4 in your roster questions. Who on the offensive line won't age or progress well and would need an offseason / rookie replacement? So in theory, the Jets should be set at tackle. They should be set at center. So I'm looking at the guard situation. Is AVT worth keeping and paying? Is John Simpson worth keeping and paying? Is that where your eyes are as well with the O-line, or are you concerned about the tackles and center on this team?
The only thing I'm concerned about is our luck when it comes to offensive line injuries, how it just seems to bite us one way or the other. I think it's going to bite somebody this year. So, and that's strictly just on, just thoughts about MetLife and crap. I know I just believe in that, and people might not, but it is what it is. I'm not worried about the tackles necessarily. I'm just worried about one of these guys going down, and then AVT being another year being beat up. The dude's been beat up his whole career. I'm a little worried that we might have seen John Simpson's best year. And I'm not saying worried with the O-line, but you can't just say that the 5 starters this year are going to be the 5 starters next year and are going to be the 5 starters a year after. Like, there's going to be something's going to happen. It happens to most teams. Like, they need, I think, to double dip at some point with a position on the O-line, whether it's via the draft or via the offseason. Like, don't make it so your advantage becomes just a whatever or an average, group for you. Like, make that offensive line continuously year after year top, 10, 5-ish unit. Like, they need to do that. I just, there's not too many what ifs. There are what ifs. Olu got hurt last year. I'm not really concerned at all with him, but he did. AVT's been hurt over and over again. Tippmann, people have questions about him. I really don't, but they're questions. Simpson, I think, may have had his best year last year. I think he might regress a bit this year. So I'm just saying, like, keep the engine well oiled. If my camera froze.
I heard something about
that's
oil,
kind of the point there.
I don't know where we're going with that. This is a family show.
That's all you heard?
I just heard something about oil. I'm like, geez.
I said, like, the Jets, the O-line's the engine. You have to keep it well oiled.
Oh. I was going to say oil. You might be on the wrong tube.
My computer just froze for a second. I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Your guy Nick Spano in the house. Can you guys see a situation where Malachi Corley doesn't make the opening day roster? I don't think he's going to. That's my take. I've been saying it now for a couple of weeks. Yeah. Can't make the club when you're in the tub. They didn't draft him. They took Arian Smith, who sounds like could do a lot of the same things Corley could do. I'm good on Malachi Corley. The only position coach they retained is basically Corley's coach at wide receiver last year, Sean Jefferson. I don't think Malachi Corley's on this roster.
That's wild. I mean, I respect that boldness. I love bold
Is
takes.
it that bold of a take? I mean,
that's a bold take, dude. If
they're keeping Lazard, Corley's not on the team. How about that?
That is an 8.8 out of 10. That's an 8 out of 10 bold take right there. That's a bold one.
You think?
Yeah, listen, Malachi Corley, remember, he's a 3rd-round pick, but he's the 1st pick in the 3rd round. So he's a late 2 in some way, shape, or form. Like, you could look at it that way. They don't have receivers on the roster. I mean, to me, it's not crazy. That's bold. It is crazy, actually. Like, if he's on, if they're gonna put him on the practice squad or cut him or trade him. I don't think Rodgers' offense made sense for the kid. With that being said, I think this year they need to target the hell out of him. So for you to say like he's not going to be on the roster, I understand that, and I'm not the biggest fan of his game because there's no precision in his route running at all. Freakish ability as an athlete, but like really doesn't get it to play receiver. But that's what coaching's for. This year we'll see. Like we'll be able to see like has he learned how to play receiver? He wasn't really learning at Western Kentucky. So I don't know. But to say he's not going to be on the roster, that's bold, Jake.
I just don't think he's that good. Like I
don't think he is either. He's not that good.
I don't see the role for him on this team. That's my big thing. I mean, I guess Xavier Gibson could be cut and Corley, they could keep Corley over Gibson, but they seemingly like Gibson enough where he's running with the ones, I've been told, in some of these practices that have been open for the media to watch.
Yeah, man. The thing with Corley is he doesn't know how to run routes at the NFL level. I mean, if you look at his tape at Western Kentucky, he was running a lot of screens, running a lot of end arounds. He was not really going and running 16-yard digs, and he has to hit that spot, on the field. He wasn't doing that at all, actually. Run some fade. So they drafted him based on athleticism purely. They couldn't have looked at him and said this guy's a refined route runner, because he's not.
Well,
he's drafted not even a good route runner. In college, he wasn't a good route runner. So what did you expect in the NFL?
I can tell you this, Frankie, from being at training camp last summer, they were using him all over the field in various packages, and then the season started and he never got on the field other than the infamous play against the Texans where he dropped the touchdown. So I don't know what they were doing in training camp, and then they start the year and they're like, screw it, we're not going to do any of this. Because I thought just being at 5 or 6 practices last summer, and he was going to have a real role in this team. And it goes back to something that's plagued the Jets for a while. They draft players and then have no plan for said players. I'm hoping that while we might not love where they took Arian Smith, the fact that they took him where they did, they have a real plan to how they're going to use him. Like the front office and the coaching staff are aligned in the vision for the players they're bringing in. I think that's been a major problem for the Jets during this playoff drought. And I'm hoping, since Glenn is essentially the final decision maker on everything, that they have a real plan for Arian Smith when you take him in the 4th round, when a lot of people felt like he's a 6th or 7th round pick at best.
Yeah. Jake, I don't see the depth there at wide receiver where it'd be smart to cut Malachi Corley. You're right in the sense of there's a 20% chance this kid, or even less, that he becomes someone that you could look at next year as a wide receiver 3 or 4. I agree with you there. It's not likely, but I mean, man, you got to figure out other positions to replenish next year. Maybe give him quarterback being one of them on offense. Tight ends, you're going to have to bring in defensive tackles. You're going to have to bring in some D-backs every year. I mean, there's positions we have to fill. You could get away with Corley being your wide receiver 4 or 3. It's just something less you have to spend capital on, but I hear you, though. I hear you.
Super chat from David. He's in the raffle for 2. Let's go, David.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Frankie, you mentioned that you have questions regarding Joe Tippmann. I'd be interested in what your concerns are regarding Tippmann.
My only concern with him is I don't know what he does very well at center. I think he does everything pretty good. I wish I could look at something and say he's a stout pass blocker.
Isn't that a good
He's
problem? He's good.
Yeah, it's fine. I liked Mawai because of how he moved in space and how he could pull.
Oh,
and
you
he
liked a Hall of Famer because he was a Hall of Famer?
Well, I'm kind of, we've watched some. That's probably the one position we watched great guys. Jake is center, so I'm kind of comparing him to what I know. All right.
Yeah, but if he's half of Mawai, that's a pretty good NFL career right there now.
Yeah, listen, I'm not gonna oh, PFF said this about Joe Tippmann. He's awesome. Like I'm not.
I think he's good
though.
There. I think he's
no. He's good. Listen, he's no problems for me. Like,
do you remember Connor McGovern? Good point, JD. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I just like he had there was like little things I've seen from him. Like he gets beat once in a while. He's a bigger center. He's taller, so his center of gravity is a little bit less. So he can get bull rushed a little bit. It's not a problem. Then you have the snap issues, and then I heard some reports about bad calls on certain protections, and maybe he's more of a guard. That's it's just a few little things that I'm not thinking of him as a Mangold though. Like I'm not, but they're not concerning issues. But I'm not. I don't know if we're going to talk about a guy being the potential Pro Bowler. He's got some things he could work on for sure.
Purple Belt Mike writes in that Frankie V is channeling his inner Jeff Dahmer with those glasses.
You like that? It's someone at the gym. I wore the glasses at the gym. I've been wearing them because it helps me see better. I mean, that's why you wear glasses, right?
You're not wearing them for style?
No. I used to have glasses years ago, and then I stopped having them. And then I just reintroduced them into my life. Like after 10 years of not having them. And I should have them, but I'd get away with it. Man, life is different, man. Like it's just like you walk down the street and things that you used to not even think, like you didn't know if someone was making eye contact with you, 20 yards away from you, you didn't going to the gym now with glasses is a revelation, for a lot of reasons. But I don't like wearing them at the gym. What
about contacts? You never thought to use contacts?
No, man. I always I don't think I'd be responsible enough, Jake, for contacts. My fear is me napping with them in and, drying out the eyes. And I don't know. I feel weird about them. But yeah, contacts will probably be the best thing. Or LASIK, right? Like that's kind of something
you got to get a LASIK company to sponsor uStadium. Get a free treatment.
What about you? Are you a contacts person?
I don't have glasses. No, I bought sunglasses over the weekend, but that's the closest thing I'll get to glasses.
Nice. You're lucky, man. You're lucky.
Nate writes in, the only person to come off dumber with glasses. I believe that's in reference to you.
Yeah. I'm going to take them off now.
Don't listen to Nate. Nate's a boy.
No. There's sweat like in the.
Let's see. Hit the like button if you're just tuning. We're talking with Frankie V. You're giving away an AsMANIAC dad hat for.
That's a great color, by the way, on that dad hat, dude. Like that's like the dad hat color, like that. Like that's what a dad would be wearing.
Peak dad hat right here. Yep, 100%. I should have wore the dad hat on the air instead of wearing a Hugo House hat. Why is that? Because they're paying me to wear it, baby. Hugo House, get a performance line hat, 20% off. Promo code Asman for 20% off. That's 20% code Asman. Hugo House. These hats are awesome. So is the dad hat from jakeasman.com. I'm a hat guy. Love hats. Frankie's got a hat too.
That's great. A good hat.
We're just pushing every hat.
See, I know we're slinging that. But this is a color like that wouldn't look good on a dad hat, but looks good with the Kelly green for the make the Jets great again. Which we're gonna do, Jake. I'm telling you, the Jets are gonna be great again.
I've heard
I don't know if they were ever that great, but it's coming, Jake. It's not gonna be, we're at 14 years. It's got to end soon, right?
Observation, take, whatever we're calling these. Frankie's tweet from yesterday we're going through. Number 5. Is any pass catcher outside Garrett worth investing in? So this kind of goes with what we were talking about with Corley. There's Arian Smith. I mean, you're not going to really you're not really going to invest in Josh Reynolds beyond 1-year deals at this stage of his career. So he doesn't really qualify. So, I mean, really can any of the UDFA guys maybe earn a spot? Who's the next Robbie Anderson, next Wayne Corbett? If something crazy like that's going to happen, or, basically it's Arian Smith to me with this conversation. I guess Corley too, but we got into that before. It's really Arian Smith or Corley if any of them can emerge this season as guys you look at and go, okay, we got Garrett and this person. Because if not, there's a strong possibility free agency, one of their big needs is going to try and find a legitimate wide receiver next to Garrett next year or the draft, but they might need to use their early pick on a quarterback. And then we're going to have the wide receiver discussion a lot in the offseason, either in free agency or the draft at that point on day 2. So there's a lot that goes with that conversation you're talking about here with this specific room on the roster. I
couldn't agree more. You said that perfectly. Yeah, there's an opportunity cost with everything a GM does in the NFL. There's an opportunity, meaning if you're not investing here or you're investing here, you're not investing there. If you're not investing here, you could invest there. Like, you don't have unlimited resources. You have unlimited picks. So it'd be nice to have one of these receivers or all of these receivers be, potential wide receiver 3s and 4s, and maybe one will be a 2 next year. But to be honest, I don't think they will be. I think we'll go into the offseason and need another receiver, and I'm fine with it. I think they're going to need one probably anyway. But I think you're going to want to – I don't know what Fields' situation will be, but you got to bring somebody else in here eventually.
Jetaholic checks in. Either of those hats paired with the white Nike Air Monarchs, the dad shoes, equals max dad aura. 100%. Steve Asman. I mean, he also has the whatever the New Balance dad 2.0s are,
Yeah. Did you see how they, by the way, you saw the, what are those Air Force? Yeah. The white Air Force One shoes that they came out with a style that they're already, but they're already dirty. Like, it's like the shoe comes like a little brown or whatever. I'm like, that's kind of weird. It's like, that's like a fashion statement from dads. Kind of interesting.
The dad 2.0s. Yeah, Jetaholic knows all about the white New Balance. Yep. See, that's a Steve Asman staple. Let's see. Let's check in now with someone who needs no introduction. See how his nap is going. Beast, how's it going? Beast? Beast? Oh, my God.
Oh, boy.
Beast. All right, everyone out there that's listening, especially podcast listeners, I'm going to play the alarm to try and wake them up. So apologies to your ears. I'm giving you guys time to lower the volume, giving you guys time to prepare properly because the alarms are about to be played. Because we need Beast to wake up. We all need some energy here on Monday. We're back to work this week. We're grinding like the Jets. Here we go. Beast, wake up. Beast, wake up, buddy. You can't go to bed yet. It's only 4:30 where you are. Looks like he's out cold, Frankie. I don't know. I tried. Beast. Who's taking care of little Joey?
We got him.
Beast. Wake up.
There he is. He puts 2 fingers up.
Wake up, Beast.
Like he's getting subbed out in a basketball game.
Beast, they're calling this your best call ever. I don't know if you want to hear that. That's not a good sign. Beast.
Yeah, I have at least this week is a little bit of a happy trails, nappy.
Beast.
Now, Doc. Now, let me make my Bugs Bunny impression. What's up, Doc? Can let Bugs Bunny do what he has to do best? Okay, Robert. Now, move on to the next caller. Let Bugs do his job. Okay? Let me be at peace. Now, it's all, folks.
Oh, he's going right back to sleep.
Get out of bed, Beast. Get out of bed, Beast.
Monday, 5 o'clock is an interesting time.
This is not what achievement looks like, Beast.
I won't say I haven't done it before, though.
Get up, Beast. Get up.
It sucks, but this feels good. This is what I needed. Ah! 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 Oh.
Get up.
Hey, it's 5 o'clock. This is what I needed. A good
4:30. It's not 5 o'clock.
It is 5. You don't pay attention enough. Don't feel
I am.
bad.
You're in Illinois. You're in the Central Time Zone, so that means it's 4:32.
What's love got to do with that? There she goes. There she goes. There she goes. There we go. Oh. 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 I'm getting old. Can I at least have a nice day to myself? I did enough for one day. Now let the man be. Will you? Thank you.
Well, at least we got him up out of his bed.
Him getting up was hilarious. Like, you guys, you need what's his name, Gator, to put something together. That looked like a seal coming out of water for a second.
Well, let me ask you something. Are you free Thursday night?
I should be, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, will Frankie V get an invite to little Joey's birthday party?
Little Joey, it's your birthday. Party all day with your daddy. Peace breaker. He's a good guy. Loves you. Takes care of you. Fuck Bobby Beasley. He wants to eat little Joey. Fuck Bobby Beasley. He wants to eat little Joey.
Join us on Gator Sports for live coverage of Little Joey's birthday party on Thursday, June 12th at 7 p.m. That's live on Gator Jets, hosted by the idiot Gator McCluskey and his special guest, Beastbreaker 666. Hope you'll join us for this festive and exciting celebration of life.
It's going to be crazy.
I'm there. That promo got me.
You ever been to a guinea pig birthday party before?
No, but it looks fun, man.
Well, get ready.
It's gonna be a good time. I'm ready for it.
Rick Kent says,
Is it online? Is it an online bird? It's like a
Yeah.
YouTube. Okay,
It's on Gator's channel. Rick Kent says, I won't be joining that. Well, Rick, you'll be missed. Let's see. Super chats cut the line. Comments, questions, all that. Frankie V. We're breaking it down. His big roster questions for the Jets this year. And you gave us 5, but we're turning it into 6 because you gave us a little extra 6. This is interesting. Is Sauce Gardner an actual leader on this team? Should we pay him as such? Your thoughts on Sauce? You wouldn't give him an extension right now?
No, I wouldn't. Why?
Okay. Yeah, break it down.
This is gonna get me hate. So for everyone that thought I was being positive, I'm flipping the script for a second. Listen, it has nothing to do with his ability on the field. Sauce Gardner, I loved him out of Cincinnati. I thought of him as a better Richard Sherman type. He's lengthy, he can move. To me, his head is just not in the right place. I don't, and that's my opinion. I see him and this Ice Spice thing and some of the tweets he's had and the personality. And I think he can, this corner diva thing that Jalen Ramsey went through, and it just happens. It happens in the NFL. He, to me, needs to grow up a little bit for me to have faith in giving him a contract. Like him playing golf with Woody's son. Why? Because he wants the dad to pay him, right? Like to me,
you have an issue with him playing golf? Who cares?
I don't have an issue with it. I just think everything he's doing is scripted for him to get the money. Like he didn't
post that picture. Brick Johnson was the one who posted the picture of them golfing.
No, I'm not saying it's better he didn't post a picture. I'm not. That's not the problem with me. I'm just saying with Sauce, there's something about him, his personality, his character, and I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but if you want to be the top paid corner in football and be someone that we know is going to bring it every Sunday, I for 5 years, I don't trust him to be that person. I think things are going to get to him. The media is going to get to him. Last year, by the way,
He was voted media good guy last year, by the way.
the media likes talking to him. I'm not saying he's mean with the media. It's just like what he puts out there.
Well, he's accountable. That's a good leader. It's what I'm trying to say. Like, they voted him that because he was always available to talk when a lot of guys were ducking the media at the end of the season, didn't want anything to do with it.
Jake, this was not brought up last year, and this is the media doing him favors last year. Do you remember how many times last year later on in games he was just sitting out? Undisclosed injuries. He apparently had some calf issue or hamstring, whatever. But how many times was he sitting out? Like, just sitting like he wasn't bringing it, man. Like Garrett Wilson, you extend tomorrow without even thinking about it. I don't think the same about Sauce. Something's off about him that I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. I know people are going to hate on it, but it's how I feel. And I'm just going with my gut on it. I love him on the field. On the field, I think. But I think off the field, he's got a lot of things he's got to get. So would you
trade him then?
It depends for what. Yeah, I would trade him. I think you can get a first and second round pick for him, and I would trade Sauce Gardner. I would. Again, he can't shut down a receiver, and he doesn't get turnovers. But I
know he won't, though. He was a two-time first-team All-Pro 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, he was. I mean, listen,
Derek Stingley Jr. just got paid, and he's had one great year. Sauce has had
and to be honest, I don't think Stingley is that much better than Sauce, if he is at all. But
so then don't you got to pay him?
Jake, but we're talking about how great a player or good a player is, their upside, and saying we're going to pay you $30 million a year as a corner when we have to pay Garrett, when we have to figure out our quarterback situation. Is he going to bring the extra stuff to make the team better, to be like more than just great at going step to step with the receiver?
Yeah, but you got to pay that. There's other. First off, I actually think Sauce has pretty good leadership skills. He's got to give more. How do we know he won't with Aaron Glenn now coaching? First off, but I don't care if Sauce is not the most vocal guy or whatnot. Like, he's great at his job. You pay him. You have other guys on the team.
Jake, what about the tweet he had? What about the tweet he had in after Arizona when he quote tweeted Samini? Oh, if you think that cost us the game, it was like a third down. They ended up scoring on that drive, I think, to go up 10-0 or something. Yeah, that was a big play. Look, do I think it cost the Jets the game? No, I don't.
He's not perfect, Frankie, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to hold.
Who says that? Who said? No, I am going to hold. You listen, Jake. You want to do the good with the good? I'll speak to you good about everyone on the Jets in a regard. That tweet was complete utter bullshit. You don't say that to your teammates. And that's not the only thing he's done. He said, oh, I'm getting off of Twitter. And then he comes back. Oh, I'm getting off of Snapchat. Something was leaked on Snapchat. I'm just saying, what
has he ever done that's bad, though? Like, you're talking about his social media stuff. Like, he doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. He plays video games and golfs. Like, I'd rather my star players do that than be out at the club partying.
Fair. I agree with that point. The latter.
Aaron Glenn has said it.
But I don't think
could be the best corner in the league. Sauce has already been a 2-time first-team All-Pro. Like, I didn't love that tweet after the Arizona game either that he deleted.
Why was Sauce a first-team All-Pro?
Because he was dominant his first 2 years. You watch the games.
Yes. Why? Because he can go step to step with receivers in primarily zone coverages. PFF.
Yeah, but now look at his man stats. Man, now look at his man stats. They're great.
Are better than people think too. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, if you're going to take that.
Do you think he's a top 3 corner in the league? Yes or no?
Yes, I do.
So then do you think corner is a premium position?
No, I don't.
Well,
then it's only a premium position if like corner, you can get a ton of value from it, or you can do it by committee. It's like one way or the other. If you have a premier guy like a Revis, like a Champ Bailey, like a Richard Sherman,
Frankie,
like a Deion
he's
Sanders,
a 2-time first-team All-Pro.
But I don't think he's of that ilk, and I think
He
as
wasn't
time
this
goes-
past year. You were not saying this his first 2 years when teams didn't even throw to him at times. He was so dominant. I agree. He needs to force more turnovers. I don't know if he's ever going to be a great
does.
tackler, although he's added more weight. So I'm excited about that. He looks like he's stronger, and I think he'll be better
I don't
coached.
care about the tackling.
But
I'm not going to judge my corner
But
based on
corner
tackling.
to me is a
My issue
premium
with-
position. So I'm paying that guy. If I think he's a top 3 player in the league at his position, I'm
Jake,
paying him.
Jake, it's a salary cap sport.
Right. And the
Like,
Jets can afford to pay
you
him.
gotta
Frankie.
pay Garrett. You want to pay
Okay,
Sauce too?
pay him too.
Pay everybody then.
So okay, they should. How do the Eagles
paying
put
Sauce
their team together?
is paying
How are the
Sauce
Eagles
right
paying
now.
Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Devon Smith? How are they paying their entire
You know how
offensive
they are?
line?
You know how they are? Because they drafted a 7th rounder who was a rugby player in Australia, and he's the best left tackle in
Great.
football.
Who are the
That's
Jets
how.
paying right now, Frankie? Who has big
I'm
contracts
saying
on their
they're-
team?
Jake, it's not about today. It's about having money
Right.
for signings. I'd rather pay a
Because
receiver,
Frankie, the Jets
maybe.
have been so good these last couple years that we should be saving money, banking on other players being as good as Sauce in a few years. What are you talking about, man?
Not
They're
as
not
good
paying a
as-
quarterback right now. They got to pay Sauce. They got to pay Garrett. Maybe they got to pay Jermaine if he bounces back from the Achilles is awesome. Maybe they got to pay AVT if he proves he could stay healthy this year.
Jake,
Outside of that, who's making big money on this team right
I'm
now? Their
talking about
tackles are on rookie
positions.
deals.
I'm not talking about players that we know will be as good at their position as Sauce on the field. I'm talking about positions that are more valuable than corner, that are worth bigger investments for
How
us.
many
Specifically
more
on-
positions are worth more than corner in your mind?
Jake, I saw Darrell Revis play my whole life.
He's the
right?
greatest corner ever.
No, but
Stop
I'm saying,
comparing Sauce to him.
But I'm just saying, for Jet fans to want to talk about Sauce as like being anything really like valuable to wins, I would say take a step back. And
You don't think he was valuable to them having the 3rd ranked defense when they won 7 games with the 32nd ranked offense in 2023?
Yeah, they still weren't winning games.
Or when he was the offense or defensive rookie of the year in 2022 when they got out to a 6-3 start, 7-4?
Jake, I'm telling you right now, in my opinion, paying that guy that money is going to bite you in the behind in a few years.
But
I'm telling you, it's going to
your
bite
logic.
you. It's
But how? You said yourself that you think he's a top 3 corner in the league.
He's a top 3 corner when he's on a football field. In terms of value, like overall value, he's to me.
But what
he's
are
not
you
a top
saving the
3
money
corner.
for? You have the
For a quarterback, for a wide receiver,
not for a quarterback.
for a
There is
tight
no
end,
quarterback,
for
Frankie.
a guard.
Frankie,
I'm
there is
just
no
saving it for
quarterback on this team. And if you draft the quarterback next year, which is the likely result of this field situation, that guy's on a rookie contract.
You can't make that. You can't. I'm saying there's no assumptions I'm going to
So-
make. I am not going to
Whoa.
pay.
So
Sauce
you
Gardner
think the
is
Jets
not.
can't afford to pay a quarterback and keep Sauce Gardner? On what planet? Look at the best teams in the league and how they allocate their funds.
Jake, it is Jake. All right, then let's go to the salary cap. Let's get salary cap. I'm telling you, it is to pay Sauce and Garrett right now.
Yeah,
is too much.
So wait a year and Sauce is an All-Pro
Let
again, and it's
Sauce
going to
prove
cost
it.
you even more. Well,
Let's prove
if
it.
that was your
It
take,
won't-
that would
it
make
won't-
sense. You're
that
saying
is
you
my
would trade.
take. It wouldn't cost
you
you
said
that
you would
much
trade
more.
him. You said you would trade him. That's
I would
different
trade
than
him
saying,
for a
I'd wait
first and a
year.
second round pick. I would trade him. Yes, I would. For a 1 and a 2, I would trade Sauce right now.
Your logic
But-
also doesn't make any sense.
but
when
no
you're
one's
like,
gonna-
I'm not paying him for his on-field value. Yes, you are. He's a 2-time first-team All-Pro. That's why you pay him.
Go in a locker room and look at the vibes and tell me that energy and that leadership stuff that no one wants to talk about is not important. Ask the Ravens about guys like Shannon. You need a good locker room. The guy is not a good locker room.
And he's a part
guy.
of that. Hey, what do you mean he's not a good locker room
He's
guy?
not.
Based on
He's a
what?
me guy. Based on him.
He's a me based on
based
what?
on the Cardinals game after he missed a tackle that they scored on that drive.
He's
he comes
frustrated
out-
after a loss,
Oh,
and you're going
all
to
right,
take
he's
a
frustrated
tweet on
after
an
a loss.
awful football team and say that
Okay.
means he's not a
You
good
will
locker room guy?
You will make excuses and for Sauce until he's off the team.
What do you mean I'll make excuses for him? There's things I like about his games and things I think he definitely needs to get better at. But I'm
Why
not
did
gonna,
he?
I'm not going to throw away the first 2 years of his career, Frankie.
Hold on. Who that's a good leader would go out and say, if you think that me missing that tackle cost us this game, you don't know crap about ball. Who would tweet that? Who in their mind that's a leader would do that? Who? Who would you do that?
I don't.
I know
I
you
don't,
wouldn't do that.
I don't.
Would I
like
do
the
that? I
tweet.
wouldn't do that. He didn't. He has no perception. He's a selfish guy.
Oh
That's
my
what he
God.
is. He's a selfish player.
He's a
Garrett
selfish
Wilson's
guy?
not. Yes, he is.
What do you
That's
mean,
my
Garrett?
opinion.
You think it's a great look for Garrett Wilson to be
Garrett
visibly
Wilson's the
frustrated on the
opposite.
sideline and get into a temper tantrum with his receiver coach?
Again,
Guys are frustrated that they're
we
losing.
will come back to this.
This is such a bad take by you.
A bad take.
and-
All right, you've said it a few times. A bad take. We'll come back to this when Sauce has a hissy fit, a kindergarten hissy fit online, and deletes his Twitter, opens it up, wants this, starts having tantrums, starts doing what Jalen Ramsey did in Jacksonville, and they shipped his ass out. We'll come back and we'll talk about it. We'll come back. Wait and see. Just wait. And I'm sorry I'm getting mad. I don't
you
understand
have no
that
right
you don't
to say
see-
Sauce is a bad locker room guy, though. That's ridiculous because he had a tweet after the Arizona game when he was frustrated with everyone calling him out for that misplay.
Yep.
That means he's a bad locker room guy?
Yes.
Come on.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You think guys don't see that? How do you think the team feels about that?
So you really think that
Who
because
does
the
that?
Jets, who were a dysfunctional franchise last year with a coaching
Listen, I'm
staff,
not a Sauce fan, so you're talking to probably the wrong person, obviously, about this.
but you
I'm
said
not
he's a
a big
top
Sau-
three quarter in the league. So that doesn't make
when-
any sense. You're talking
Jake,
to both sides of your mouth. Have a take that's consistent. It doesn't make sense.
Jake, I'm saying when he lines up on Sundays, the value, if everything's right, he has the talent. He's a top three corner.
So why don't we?
I
so-
don't think the top three. I said talent. He's a top three.
What do you mean
As a
talent? He's done it
Talent.
already.
His-
He's
his-
been the best
his
corner in
ability
the
to
league
move in
twice.
space, his
Twice.
length, his sometimes
We know
his
he's
instinct.
physically gifted. He also has
Yes.
done it on the field twice as a first-time or two-time.
What happened
first-team
last year?
All-Pro. He had a bad year
Why?
by his standards.
Okay.
What do you mean why? I think
Why?
it had a lot to
It's
do
the
with
most important. It's the most important season maybe in Jets history. We're talking about going to the Super Bowl. We're favored in 14 out of 17 games.
What do you
he had a
mean,
bad
why?
year.
You know why.
Why? You answer
They
that. I
fired
don't know.
Robert Saleh when the team was 2
Okay.
and 3. They were poorly coached last year. The defensive
All right.
line was not nearly as good. They lost Jermaine,
I'm-
Michael Carter, and DJ
am-
Reed were both
Listen.
in and out of the lineup.
Okay, ready? I'll make this simple for you. I'll make it simple. Sauce, you wanted your money? You should have had a better year last year. Have one this year. Is that simple enough?
Yeah, but that
You
wasn't your
wanna-
take. You said you would trade him. Now you're
I
walking
said
back being
if-
like, I wouldn't
no,
extend him.
I wouldn't trade him for just a first round pick. When you said, would you trade him? I go, yes, if the compensation's there.
So
a
for a
first and
first and second round pick, you would trade him. And also, who had
a million percent.
Who other than Jamie
put
and
my
Sherwood
headphones on,
had a
Ron.
really good year on defense last year? The whole defense was a mess last year.
Yeah, and he had something to do with it, I'm sure. He's
He
the
was
guy.
not as good last year as he was clearly his first 2 years. But my point is, neither was Quinton Williams. Neither was Quincy Williams when he was an All-Pro, first-team All-Pro in 2023. They were not as good on defense last year as they were previously. I think it had a lot to do with poor GMing by Douglas and Woody firing Saleh at 2 and 3. I think that had a huge ripple effect on the
I
team.
agree with I
Obrick
do
was
agree
in
with
over
that.
his head as a head coach. He said when he got to Atlanta, his biggest mistake and his biggest regret was not delegating the play calling responsibilities to someone else on his staff. It was too much for him to be the head coach and the DC in hindsight. You don't think that maybe had something to do with the fact why everyone besides one player on defense had a down year?
You can, yes, it did have something to do with it. But again, if you want to be a great corner, you want to be the top paid corner in football,
He
you
wasn't
do what
bad last year.
you
though.
do what Surtain did last year and win Defensive Player of the Year. And, we could have that conversation.
Okay,
Again,
so Sauce is not Patrick Surtain, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't pay him. Do you think he's better than J.C. Horn, who just got a huge deal from the Panthers?
I don't know enough about J.C. Horn to make that assessment. I'm just going to be, I'm not going to pretend like I do. I would say probably. Listen, hold on. I said talent-wise, Sauce is awesome. My issue with Sauce is not his PFF ranking or something. My issue with Sauce is him as a leader getting that defense locked in. I don't like, based on stuff I've seen, the tweets and the Snapchat and the Ice Spice and stuff. I think
So he's dating
kind of
Ice
like-
Spice. That's the
he's
problem.
kind of got a little Hollywood selfishness about him that I can see that I don't like. And again, I've come on this show and I've made proclamations like this to pass. I get ripped. The homers can't get over themselves. They think everything's great. I'm here to tell you what I feel, and we'll see. I'm telling you, I'm going to be right about this. I'm telling you.
So do you have a problem with Quinton Williams, who's been a captain, who tweeted when they hired Aaron Glenn? I guess here comes another rebuild.
Yeah, I
When
did.
they cut Rodgers, I mean.
But I think Quinton
So
to me.
what's the difference?
Quinnen and Sauce are two different players. So if you want to talk one, we could talk one. You want to talk the other.
Yeah, but by your
talk
logic
the other.
doesn't make sense why you're anti-extending Sauce.
I don't
in your
think
own words,
Sauce
you think
Gardner
he's
deserves. I think it's a mistake in year 3 of that contract with the value he's going to give you as a leader of that defense. I think it's a mistake for the Jets to pay him. That's it. I don't know what else you want me to say. You want to give me PFF rankings? Go right ahead.
My eyes tell me that he was one of the best players in the NFL
Last year,
2 seasons in a row, his first and second year in the league. And last year, the whole defense
he
was
didn't do
bad.
anything. He didn't do anything last year. He didn't make one play all year. One play, Jake. One.
That's just not true. That's just not true. That's just not true. That's not true.
Okay, it's not true.
What
He
do you
gets
mean
cooked he gets cooked by the Patriots receiver. He can't cover the slants. He can't cover underneath routes.
The defense as a whole.
Man.
What do you mean give you a break? You're being exposed for just being
I'm not
unfair.
being exposed.
You're not being fair.
Sauce Gardner did not.
Are you going to try and tell me that Sauce Gardner was bad last year? Is that what you're saying? You think
he was average.
He
was average.
You think he was average? Compare his bad year, right? His bad year for his standards to other corners around the league, and he's like number 5 last year.
I am not. Listen, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this again. I'm not. Jet fans, we have a problem where we try to put guys on these pedestals sometimes a little.
He was a first-team All-Pro twice. We're not putting him on a pedestal.
I'm talking this year based on his production last year. I'm not talking about his first year. So this year, you're trying to put him on a pedestal to pay him as a highest.
What did you say about the defense at the beginning of the show? You think they're going to have a great year, right? You think his defense is going to be number 5 in the league, and you don't think having an All-Pro corner might have something to do with why they will be really good on defense?
Jake, do you understand what you're?
I want to pay Sauce. Yes, I do. Frankie.
How much?
I understand. I want
how much?
1 cent more than what Derek Stingley just got. Done.
Give me the deal. How much? What is Stingley's deal?
Let's pull up his contract right now. It's really not that hard. He got. Let's see. He signed a 3-year, $90 million contract, included $25 million signing bonus with $89 million guaranteed. Average annual salary of $30 million. 1 cent more than that deal. Done.
I'm good on that. I'll pay him 20. I pay him 25.
You pay him 20. Then you're not going to be able to get a deal done. Why would he take that?
You should have had a better year last year.
You want to trade him though?
I didn't say I wanted to.
You said you would trade him.
I would trade him for the compensation. Would you trade Sauce? Would you trade Sauce for 3 first-round picks?
3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's like, all right. You want to trade him then? I said I would trade him for compensation that I find justifiable. Everyone's got a price tag in this league, right?
Yeah.
I said I would trade him at the right price.
But that's
Jet fans, I would never trade Sauce. God forbid. Get out of here.
No. I don't think Jet fans are saying that.
No, they say that.
No, if you were offered 3 first-round picks
for some reason,
Frankie, any Jet fan that can use rational thought would say, yeah, if we're getting 3 first-round picks, that's different. But your logic doesn't make any sense in what you're talking about.
It's Jake. I'm just saying.
No one's offering the Jets 3 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner. That's what
I don't
that's
look
the
at this. I don't think. Sorry to cut you off. I don't think this guy is the cornerstone corner that we think he could be. I don't think he's that guy, and I don't look at him as being the most important player on a defense that has longevity and could win a Super Bowl. I don't view Sauce as that. Now, do I view him as a top 5 corner and makes 20 mil a year or 25?
That's not the going rate for corners. It's a league where the salary cap goes up 20% every year.
Jake,
the next guy up
Jake,
breaks the market.
Jake, for me, the most I'd pay him is 25. And I wouldn't pay it this year. I'd pay it next year.
Then you're not going to get him.
Then I'm not paying a corner $30 million that I don't think is a great corner on and off the field.
You just said he's a top 3 corner. What do you mean on and off the field? There's no off the field with Sauce. You're acting like he's been arrested and he's done things that are getting him suspended with the league. He's never done anything.
I called him a top 3 corner, athletically speaking. In a vacuum.
What do you mean?
He can be his talent, his ability to move in space.
He was a first-team All-Pro, Frankie. Was he not a top 2 corner in the NFL?
Yeah, and you could have made an argument he was the best corner in football too. And I was saying that.
So you think that has now vanished? You think he's not that guy anymore?
Not that specifically, but in totality.
Totality, what? It's 2 amazing years to 1 good year.
Jake, it's like in any sport. You can go in, have a few hot shot seasons. the game catches up to you.
Oh my
the
God.
media, the pressure.
What do you
Jake
mean the
in sports.
media?
All right, he's going to be
He's
a first
24
team
years
All-Pro.
old. This is not Ryan Fitzpatrick having a flash in the pan year in 2015, and we know what
Why
he
did
is.
when
Sauce was the
Jacksonville
4th pick in the draft for a reason. He's thought to be one of the best corners in the NFL when he was drafted that high.
You know what? I can't wait. I really can't. I'm coming back on the show if you allow me to. I can't wait for me to be right about this. I can't.
Why do you want to be right about this?
I don't want to be right, but I know I'm going to be right about this. I know it.
So what is your
core.
final take on Sauce Gardner?
My final take is Sauce Gardner does not deserve to be the top paid corner in the NFL. That's my take.
So if they don't extend him and he has an amazing All-Pro year and it costs the Jets even more money to do it, you think that's going to be smart business? Mr. Salary Cap over there?
It's worth it. It's worth another show me year. He needs to show me in one more year. He had, to his standard, not a good enough year for me to feel confident in paying him that money. You want to ignore the tweets. You want to ignore all that stuff. That's on you.
What tweet? You brought up one tweet after Arizona.
Jake, go online. I all year I was reading. I'm not going to go through it. I don't want to go through it.
Come back with the evidence of these tweets if you're gonna assassinate a guy's character on the biggest Jet YouTube show that exists right now, because I think it's ridiculous. You can criticize his on-field play. I certainly have, but I'm not going to pretend like he wasn't a first-team All-Pro his first 2 years and was considered the best corner in the league.
I'm not coming on a show and licking someone's behind because they made an All-Pro and they're a New York Jet. I'm not doing that. You want people on that do that?
What do you mean?
I'm giving you the realness from my perspective.
When you said,
I don't like.
No one's licking his behind. We're talking about paying a guy.
No,
who's
you
a
want me
damn
to
good
lick his
player.
behind. Pay him, pay Garrett, Brees is this.
No, I want you to justify. I want you to justify why you're saying that he has off-field comments. I think that's unfair to the guy. That's ridiculous.
Jake, we're gonna go on about this. I don't. Beningo comes on your show all the time, doesn't he? Why does he say Sauce Gardner is the most overrated corner in football? He says it all the time.
Yeah, because Joe is Joe, but I disagree with him when he says that.
That's fair.
And I think most people disagree with Joe on that.
I just put Sauce Gardner tweets, and I'm not reading them. One, I can't read because I'll get in trouble on the show for reading it. There's a bunch of tweets about him and calling Sneeko stuff, deleting a Snapchat apparently of him, something leaked. I don't know what it was. Sauce Gardner posted and deleted.
Why don't you do
There's
this,
a bunch.
Why don't you do this, Frankie?
They're all here. Just go on Twitter and
come back with evidence that
I
Sauce
can't even
Gardner
read this
off
stuff.
the field is a problem. Great. Here's what we'll do. Thank you for coming on as always. uStadium. You come back with evidence, and we'll get you on the show anytime you want. You call in evidence that Sauce is bad off the field, and we'll allow you to say it. But throwing that out there with no basis for it is ridiculous. That's not fair.
I'll say this. I didn't listen. When I mean a bad locker room guy, I didn't mean it like that. So I want to take that back for a second. Okay. What I meant was he is not, to me, the kind of guy that I would want if I had a defense. I wouldn't want a guy with that personality that's Hollywood and celebrity and all that stuff. I wouldn't want it. That's why did Aaron Glenn say, I don't want a celebrity quarterback, right? Like that kind of mentality. I fall in that regard a bit more. I think the guy's a little bit too Hollywood for my, but I don't think he's a bad locker room guy. And I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't. So I want to say that.
Can I ask you a serious question?
Yes.
Do your hamstrings hurt?
Not really. Why?
Because that is some backpedal you just did there. Oh my God. Are you kidding me?
I don't listen. We gotta understand something. When I'm talking about football players and locker rooms, I'm not talking about the man as a father or a son or a brother. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about I like Ray Lewis, that even when he couldn't move was one of the most valuable players in the league. I love that shit. This guy to me has a lot of growing up to do. Now, if he were to do it talent-wise, he's a top 3 corner in the league. He's a top corner in the league, talent-wise, Sauce. I wanted Sauce over Kayvon. Ask anyone at uStadium. I was screaming to get Sauce over Kayvon out of Cincinnati. Something's off with the guy. And the fact that saying this is like controversial, I have different conversations than people do. You want to have generic conversations? Have them. They're all the same. Everything is the same. I'll give you something a little bit different.
Hey, congrats on being a high school football Hall of Famer, by the way. I hope the speech went well.
I actually mentioned Sauce in my speech. I'm like, listen, guys, let me just end this. See, I should have made it 5 points, not 6. The 6 point got us off the rails a little bit. I do apologize, Jake, about but it's good, it's good to go back and forth. But don't hate me for having an opinion. They're listen.
I don't hate you.
No, I'm just saying. I'm not saying Sauce is a bad locker room. I want to take that back. I'll fully admit I went too far. I want to take that back, right? But there are bad locker room people in the NFL. Are there not? There are. There
For sure.
every year.
I don't think there's any evidence that Sauce is one of those guys.
To me, there is evidence that he could be one of those guys. I don't want to say he is because to what you're saying, he's a serious person for the most part in terms of like not partying and stuff. But I mean, the people he surrounds himself with, I'm not Sneeko, Ice Spice, the tweets. I mean, Jake, go right now or after the show and search Sauce Gardner tweets, look at the top and go and read them. Is this a serious person that like you think you want to pay after the year? Okay,
I do.
Fair enough.
I do.
That's fair.
His head coach said he thinks he could be the best corner in the league. Steve Wilkes said part of the reason he took the job was having Sauce Gardner. I think he's one of the best players at his position in the league. If you don't pay a guy like that's already been defensive rookie of the year, that you drafted, that wants to be here, then who do you pay? You have all this money to spend. All of it. The cap's not a concern right now. Jets are going to have among the most salary cap in the league the next couple of years. They're not paying a quarterback. They're not paying premium positions across this roster yet. Not even close.
Jake, all right.
Put your evidence together. We will continue this conversation. Put your evidence together on Sauce.
I'm not an interceptions guy, right? Like, I don't care that much. But, like, dude, 1 interception in 2 years, 49 tackles last year.
If you're just basing it off last year.
But if you're not going to be a man corner, if you're not going to be a man, I'm going to shut down one side of the field corner.
He does that. That's what he does. That's what he did his first 2 years.
Jake,
lowest quarterback rating in the league when he was targeted. That's how he was a first
man
team
or zone. In man or zones.
Frankie, his second year in the league.
There's context there.
His second year in the league, he did not have an interception, right?
Yes.
He was first team All-Pro. You got to watch the games. I know you did. Let's not forget how good this guy was his first 2 years, just because he and collectively, other than Sherwood, all had down years defensively.
To be honest, I think his best year was his first year.
And you also said you don't care about tackles before, so now you're walking that back.
I'm saying you got to give something, man. You got to give it to me somewhere.
He graded out as one of the better corners in the league last year at a premium position.
Did he?
Yes.
Where was he on Pro Football Focus?
They just ranked him number 1. I don't have his specific.
No, they ranked him number 1 going into the season. Yeah, they did, and we'll see about that.
All I know is Sauce Gardner is considered to be one of the best players at his position. He's 24 years old. So we'll go in circles again. We both have made our points. Once again, you find evidence of the issues with his tweets. That's fine.
But remember, hold on. There's a difference, though, between potentially being something
he's been the best corner in the league twice in 3 years. Derek Stingley's done it 1 year, and they just paid him.
Well, why didn't we pay Sauce then?
Because we have a new regime. I think Joe Douglas would have paid Sauce this offseason. He got fired. And how do we know they won't pay Sauce? Jeremy Fowler reported on this show to Connor Lawn that they made initial offers of both him and Garrett.
Whatever, man. This caping for Sauce.
No one's caping for him. It's saying, hey, he's worth paying. He's worth paying. That's not caping for him.
He's not worth paying right now.
Oh
I disagree with that.
So stop. So don't. You're the one who's anti-Sauce. I'm following conventional team building and saying a guy who's been really good who wants to be here and we have money to pay him. I'm paying him. That's not caping for him. Caping is what the Zach Wilson truthers would do for someone who sucks. Sauce is a damn good player, one of the best in the league at his position.
Jake. You're going based on best in the league at a position, right?
That's in a premium position. That's one
Jake. No. Premium position. That's arguable. There's people that don't believe corner's a premium position. You're wrong there. There's some people that don't buy that logic. A. B. If you're looking at last year, what
the
was
defensive player of the year was
if you want to tell me Sauce Gardner had a great year as a corner last year.
He had a very good year relative to the other players at his position. It wasn't nearly as good as his first 2 years in the league. But we don't erase those first 2 years and say, well, this is who he is. Guys have bad years and bounce back all the time. So much of it is coaching, environment, culture that you're talking about. It was a toxic environment last year.
Jake, it's fine. It was a toxic environment that he might have had something to do with.
Based on, I can't do this again. Frankie, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Frankie V, uStadium. Check him out. High school football Hall of Famer. God. Chad is buzzing. What do we got here? Oh, Bang Mateo agrees with Frankie. Doesn't that say a lot? Frankie's on the beat. Sauce is also mopey. Big fella. Frankie, you were doing so well. Don't let Tanky come in. Bet Page Chris. Sauce's contract will be a bargain in 4 years. Nick Shine. Frankie's takes anger me more than my ex-mother-in-law's did. She's a Cowboys fan. F her. Suck it, Linda. Gil with a super chat. He's 24 in his prime. Are you kidding? Because he hung out with Ice Spice and had a questionable tweet. Weak-ass analysis. I mean, the tweet stuff is just silly. I mean, come on, man. I think it's a sign of immaturity, not a guy that's a bad guy or can't. Like, he's 24, man. Like, we got to remember that these guys are young. Bang Mateo, Frankie V, Colgate legend and Hall of Famer at high school. All you need to know about that argument with Frankie is where Bang Mateo is staking his allegiance. Anthony, in our raffle, if you're tuning in late, I'm giving away a dad hat at the end of the show for a daily raffle. Anthony's in the raffle for 2 with the super chat. Everyone seems to forget that Sauce played injured a lot last year and still played and never complained. Why would any organization want to trade a top 3 corner? It doesn't make sense. Pay him. Nick Shine, Frankie is the male version of Bravo TV, manufacturing drama just for the sake of having drama. Patriots 12. Love to watch how even after work or break. Thank you, Patriots 12. God. Mike Dems, guy would rather have Sauce be bad and be right than have Sauce ball out and be the Jets and Jets be good. Wipe your forehead, sweaty. Coach drunk Chris Curtis. Frankie doesn't know ball. Sauce is elite. Mike writes in, Frankie's take on Sauce seems personal. Is it the grills? I don't know. I don't understand how we're not gonna acknowledge what Sauce was the first 2 years and conveniently forget that. On that note, we will get to your calls coming up. Ralphie writes in, look at what a distraction Rodgers was, and he is killing Sauce. Give me that hat. Look at what a distraction Rodgers was, and he's killing Sauce. I mean, Rodgers was a distraction in part just because he's such a huge name and he'd be on McAfee and whatnot. I mean, I just think Sauce is the wrong guy to kill for selfish guys or did Hassan Reddick not play for this team last year? Thank you for the super chat, Ralphie. We will get you in there. Let's get to some calls on this, shall we? First up today on our Gustbuster hotline is a man who's either inside and or outside. And right now, you stop what you're doing and you guess if he is, in fact, inside or outside.
Man, you could cut the tension in here with a knife. Poor Frankie.
Are you on his side?
Or what do you think?
Are you on the other side?
I'm on our side, the Jets fan side. And the Jets fan side means that we try and retain Sauce Gardner at almost any cost. I mean, when you lead with Ice Spice as your reason that he's going Hollywood, I mean, did Tom Brady go Hollywood? Did Travis Kelce go Hollywood? Has Josh Allen gone Hollywood? Like, how has it affected their play? Like, I think that is, forgive the pun, weak sauce.
Got him.
It's just, like, it's kind of mind-blowing. Like, you're going to judge the guy on one tweet like when he's 24 years old or whenever he was when he issued the tweet. I agree, it was probably ill-advised, but none of us wants to be judged by our worst moment. Like, it's just it's kind of seems silly to me. The guy is a two-time first team All-Pro. He probably should have made the Pro Bowl team last year. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to harangue Sauce, and that you could say that and acknowledge that the guy could tackle better, that he could haul in more errant balls. Like there's a lot that he could improve upon, but coming out of the box, he's pretty good. I don't.
And
I
if
don't
you don't have
understand.
him, you're not finding someone better that's replacing him. So you're like, that's the thing.
He's if he's not 1A, he's 1B as far as priorities are concerned. Like, I mean, it's pretty clear to me, right? Like, you wouldn't pay Jermaine. I mean, he was talking about putting guys on a pedestal, but Breece Hall he was putting on a pedestal earlier in the program, and he really hasn't done anything.
Yeah, he's saying that Breece should hold out. That's a good point. I should have thought of that in the conversation with him. He's talking about Breece holding out. And I'm like, for what? He has no leverage. Sauce actually has some leverage. He's been a two-time first-team All-Pro.
Well, that's why I'm here, Jake. I'm here as a resource for you.
Thank you, Kyle.
But like, I didn't. I wanted to get on, and I kind of wanted to have these discussions calmly with him. But it looked like it was going a little sideways there for a minute.
I enjoyed it. I love the passion.
It's good pod, as the kids say. But I think that he was losing the chat a little bit. I appreciate.
We go too far when we talk about locker room and I'm glad he walked it back at the end because I just don't think that's fair to Sauce. Like, what is this based on? He's not a bad guy. His teammates love him. Coaching staff has other good things to say about him. Like, come on.
Well, I mean, if he's upset that he doesn't, and then someone in the chat says they don't think that Ice Spice is attractive enough for his level of celebrity, then they might have a point there. Like, if you're going to swing for the fences, go for the Sydney Sweeneys of the world and the Anna de Armases of the world, and Megan Thee Stallion or whomever your physical type might happen to be. But I don't know. I don't know why he would lead with that. He's dating Ice Spice, and now he's automatically Hollywood. He's allowed to date who he wants. A lot of people have Twitter, sometimes to their detriment, but I don't feel like he's particularly that guy. I appreciate your time, Jake.
Kyle, salient points as usual. Let's see. Peg and Artie, leave Sauce alone. You tell him, Peg and Artie. Hell yeah.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Peg and Artie in our raffle for 2. Dad hat, giveaway, end of the show. It's Father's Day week, baby. Asmaniac dad hat. Nate writes in, where I'm up to in the Frankie argument, Jake said he'd sign him because he's a 2-time All-Pro. Frankie responded with, but the vibes. I'm excited to rewatch it because there was a lot of hilarity in that exchange there. Hawk says, people like Frankie are needed. It's a thought experiment. If you talk out the bad idea all the way to the end, it helps the good choice seem more clear. I'm not smart enough to understand that comment, Hawk, so I'll take your word for it. Nate says, Frankie is the only person who could lose an argument to a corpse. Black Gypsy, he just didn't like Sauce, that's all. Mike, Frankie just wants Sauce to be bad so we could go with his tank plan. Addison, I never thought that I'd hear Kyle say Megan Thee Stallion. I saw her throw out a first pitch at an Astros game a couple of years ago. Hawk says pay Sauce. Okay, Hawk. Sounds good, man. You know it's bad if Hawk and I agree on something. Jeez. Purple Belt Mike is up next. Hello, Mike.
Yo, who gives a fuck about who's dating who? Why does that matter?
It doesn't.
Like, if Ice Spice is rocking his world one way or the other, who cares? Who cares? It has nothing to do with him as a Jet.
There's no impact on him as a football player.
Yeah. I don't understand why that matters. Who cares one way or the other? Doesn't matter. And the fact that he's one of our own and he said he wants to be here, you should reward him for that. Not a lot of people say they want to be Jets. It's
Well, there
hard
also
to.
hasn't been a lot of guys that have been two-time All-Pros that you could extend and keep for the long term that are 24 years old.
When we signed Revis an extension, how old was he?
Um,
It was
well,
after his rookie contract, right?
well, I think he was under contract still at the time, right? Because he got drafted in 07, so he played 07,
'Cause
08,
because
09, and then 2010 he held out for a new deal.
yeah, and then he got it,
Yeah.
and then we traded
That was
him
the
like
old
2 years
CBA,
later.
though. It's a lot different now contractually what players can now do. Like you can't really hold out anymore. The fines are extraordinary. It was different in 2010.
My point is that the guy has proven that he's good at his worst and great at his best. And he's a homegrown Jet and he wants to be here. Pay him. The market's been set. For
Yeah.
Garrett, it's harder because he's a top 10-ish receiver,
And
but
I'd
he
pay him
doesn't have the
too.
quarterback.
And what
Yeah,
annoyed
but
me
it's
about
harder
Frankie's
to set
take
his
is,
number.
well,
His
Frankie,
number,
agreed. But Frankie was
yeah.
also talking about the future salary and what if we got to pay a quarter? Like, look at the best teams in the league and how many good players they're able to sign and keep. Like, what are we doing, man? Like, it's very
look at the
easy.
Bengals. The
And
Bengals are paying all these people
the
because
Jets don't have a quarterback that's making a lot of money
Exactly.
right now. Justin Fields is one of the lowest paid non-rookies in the league at that position. Like, and if he's good, guess what? He's under contract for another year. And if you actually do want to pay him long term, that's a great problem to have. You could extend him and do cap gymnastics to keep his cap hits low for the next couple of years. So it doesn't make any sense.
It's either Fields at a low number or a rookie quarterback.
Correct.
So it makes no sense of saying cap space. You basically have an extra $50-60 million depending on how much the next going rate's going to be for quarterbacks. So I don't understand the logic. It doesn't make sense to me. And all this stuff about Sauce with his tweets. What about Quincy Williams? I'm not Quincy. Quinton Williams saying whatever he said when they weren't going to sign Rodgers. That I think is worse than anything that Sauce has said. Not that Quinton was wrong, but the whole point is his tweets aren't bad. I don't get it.
Well, he wouldn't be the first person to post something on social media when they're upset or they're emotional and regret it. You know, like it's unfortunately that these guys have grown up with social media their whole lives. They express themselves through social media. Sometimes it can backfire. I don't think it makes Sauce a bad teammate or a bad guy, bad locker room guy, any of that.
Yeah, I don't believe any of that stuff. There hasn't been one player that he's played with that said, "Oh yeah, Sauce is a train wreck in the locker room or whatever." So
If he was, we'd hear about it. Instead, we hear the opposite. That Sauce is great to cover. He's accountable. He'll always speak. He's not selfish. All that.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see his tweets he's going to show. It's going to be like pictures of him and Ice Spice. And he's like, "Oh, look at these bad tweets. She's in a bikini. Oh."
Oh, he went to the Knicks playoff game with her, and I'd be like, okay, and?
Yeah. Who cares?
Like.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
Apparently, Ice Spice has got dem cheeks. Any thoughts on that?
Oh, she would rock your world and my world. Yep. Definitely.
What does Mrs. PBM think about Ice Spice?
I don't know. She's downstairs working out. She's not listening to me.
She's trying to go full Ice Spice?
She doesn't have no Ice Spice. That's reserved.
Mike, Sally, and Points, appreciate you.
Peace.
PBM, everybody. Mike, wait, hold on. Are you going to the Rothenberg and DiPietro Met outing on Thursday?
So I have to work, so I can't go to the game, but I'm going in the morning to the live show. You're going to be at the live show?
No, I'm going to go to the game. I'm going to at least the tailgate. I was going to stop by.
Yeah, no, I can't make the game this year. I went the past 2 years, but I can't do this one.
Damn. Well, we almost crossed paths another time.
Peace.
All right. Go enjoy your wife and Ice Spice. Thank you, Mike. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Reminder, this week's top raffle prize. We've never given this out until now. We've done it twice. Full-size Broadway Joe helmet. This one is the match to the photo on the screen there. That's the one. The one Peter Castro got had like the old school handlebar. So technically, this is the first time we've given out this version of the full-size Namath. Walt Clyde Frazier jersey, Kevin Mawai jersey, Bart Scott jersey, all signed and authenticated if you want one. Gift away. Plus, daily raffle prize. This hat, the dad hat, in honor of Father's Day week at the end of the show. Patriots 12 writes in, Diggs was on a boat with Cardi. Who cares? Extend him. He's your best player on defense. Wow. Patriots 12 with a super chat that the chat has no choice but to agree with. Stunning. Indy Jets. He's our next caller, and he joins us now. What's up, Indy?
Hey, Jake. I'm going to address something here, and Black Gypsy and I have kind of gone back and forth. We're saying the same things, and nobody's saying it. But when a guy addresses a person based off of personality, he said, "Oh, Sauce isn't a locker room guy, but he could be. I don't like his personality, and I don't like the people he hangs around, and I don't like the things that he tweets." Dude, why don't you just say he's too? I'm going to say it, Jake. He's too fucking ghetto, dude. I'm sorry. He said he literally said everything but that, and that's how I took it, and that's how some people in that chat took it too. Is he's just too black or whatever it is.
Well,
and he doesn't like him, and all these things. All these things that he said. No, I'm saying it because that's exactly what he was saying.
That's not fair. That's not fair.
Yes, it is.
No.
Yes, it is.
You can't just say that. That's not fair.
Yeah, it is because it's somebody like that doesn't have enough balls to say I don't like him because he's too ghetto. So they're going to come up with these. Well, I don't like his person.
That's unfair. Indy. That's unfair to say that. There's no. I'm sorry. I'm not. I don't want to go down that path. Let me say this. All right. Frankie's entitled to his opinion. All right. That's not fair. I don't want. Just like we shouldn't assassinate Sauce's character. When I was saying to Frankie, like, I don't think it's fair to say that's why he doesn't want the Jets to extend Sauce. That's not fair. There's no evidence to support that. It's not like Frankie has a history of comments like that would make like that's not fair to say. You can't say that about Frankie. He has a sports opinion we disagree with. He has a right to his opinion though. But I don't think that's fair. I've met Frankie multiple times in person. I don't think it's a fair comment to make. I don't. I think we go too far with that stuff. All right. That's just I don't think that's fair to say. You're going to disagree with his opinion and all that. I certainly did. But I don't know if that's fair to say. I understand where you're coming from, Indy. I do. I get it. But come on, man. I don't think it's fair to jump to that. He had a bad sports opinion. Party with Peg and Artie. They're next. Hello, guys.
Hey, what's up, Jake? What's up, Jake? Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, everything's going good here. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm not sure if I agree with Indy's take on that. I didn't kind of get that vibe. I didn't get that. I really didn't understand what he was saying, especially when he's talking about saving money for a quarterback. I mean, does he think Mahomes is going to be available soon or something? Like, what is he even talking about? And then he brought up Ray Lewis. I mean, like Sauce obviously has a much higher character than Ray Lewis.
Yeah,
I mean,
of the ghetto, if we're talking about the ghetto, go look at what Ray Lewis was involved in the night of the Super Bowl in 2001, whatever that was.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't get that vibe at all. I mean, I can see if he said Sauce doesn't intercept the ball or he has some other, things he don't like about the way he plays. But I mean, we're talking about a dude that didn't give up hardly any touchdowns. What did he give up? Like 2 touchdowns his whole career or something? 3 touchdowns? I mean, like he's an incredible player. Yeah, it's just wacky.
Leave Sauce alone.
I like it. Leave Sauce alone. Well, I mean, it's well said.
Yeah,
well
exactly. So I don't know. I didn't think the thing that really got me worried. What I wanted to mention is, and I was thinking about this the other day. I mean, I know we're talking about between 6. Some people say 11 wins, 8 wins, 10 wins. But if they get this wrong, and this guy Justin Fields stinks, I mean, right off the rip, they got to say, do these guys even know what they're doing? So, I mean, they got to hope that Justin Fields starts off at least decent.
Well, I think it's twofold, though, right? What does Rodgers do versus how does Fields look if that happens? Like, if they suck and Fields and Rodgers still proves he has a lot left, I think they look awful. I think if Fields is just
horrible.
Yeah, I mean, but I think if Fields is just like bad and Rodgers is then it's going to be like there wasn't any real great option for them, and they're going to get their quarterback in 2026. And here we go. The clock now starts. You better be right. Otherwise, you're not going to see this rebuild or retool, however it's going to be defined, with this quarterback you took. Like,
I got no doubt they're going to draft a quarterback in 26. They have to.
Unless Fields is good. And then they wouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah, then you know, I mean, I'm for drafting a quarterback every year till you get one. You know what I'm saying? So, you know.
Well, they're certainly not, because they knew Jordan Travis was hurt and probably going to retire, and they said, we're good.
Exactly. All right, AsManiacs, have a great show. Talk to you guys later.
Marty, you guys are awesome. Looking forward to seeing you guys in Tampa at our meetup down there this year, week 3. Jojo says, Jake, you are a classy man. Jojo, you're awesome. I saw you sent in a super chat over the weekend to Connor. So that super chat counted for the raffle. Everyone, Genergy, I know, had one. Kyle Clifton, I made sure I went back and compiled all the memberships and super chats from the Saturday show. So you guys are in the raffle for that. And Jojo, you're in the Dad Hat raffle now for 5 with that super chat. More of your calls right now. Black Gypsy's next. What's up, Black Gypsy?
Yo. So, what Frankie was saying was personal. Like, he doesn't like sauce. For whatever his reasons are, he doesn't like sauce. Now, what he did say, which does back up what Indy Jet says, how he's describing him and what he's using as his weapons to say that sauce isn't good, it basically makes him look like he's too ghetto. Because Sauce is online and he's dating Ice Spice, which Ice Spice is ghetto. You know what I mean? So that's his reasoning. It's factual. It's not something that we made up. He may have not have wanted to say that, but that's what he said. You got him heated, and when you got him heated, when you're mad, your true shit comes out. And he said what he really felt. And what he felt was that as me watching it, that's what I got.
Well, let me ask you this as someone who's obviously black, right? Does ghetto automatically mean black, right? Like that's what I'm not following here.
It does. As a black person, when someone calls you ghetto or says someone's ghetto, it's normally a minority. So that's how we feel about it. Either way, like, his takes were just bad. He was having a bad day with bad takes. Because how do you not? He says Sauce is top 3 and potential wise top 3, but he doesn't want to pay for top 3. Like. And the thing that bothers me about when Jets fans do this is that we draft a player. The player is good. Pay them. Like, if I'm a player coming out of college or a player on another team that wants to go to the Jets, and we look at a guy that comes in that's homegrown and you don't pay him, why would I want to go to your team? There's no loyalty to your team. And a lot of the Jets fans, I guess all fans do it, but because we're Jets fans, we see it. The loyalty skips quickly. Because I hear a lot of people in the thing saying that, we're going to boo Aaron Rodgers when we see him on the field for the first time. Why would you boo him? What did he do to you for you to have any animosity towards Aaron Rodgers? He wanted to come back. Your new coach shat on him and said, get out of here, basically. So now he goes to another team. When you see him, salute him and say, thank you for what you've done for us. You were a Jet at one point, and keep it moving. Like, the fact that we get to play these games and then act like the people, when they react, shouldn't have those reactions. Like, in the games, Revis would have tooed, Deion Sanders would have tooed, Cromartie would have tooed. Like, by those, then we should never pay those guys, by Frankie's logic. Like, that's asinine. All players on the field, when they don't do something good, they're going to react. They're human beings. And I had a question earlier that I had asked, right? Because I really wanted to know what people think about this. So, Prime Vic, there's no comparison between him and Fields. Right, Prime Vic is Prime Vic. Old Vic or Fields? Which would you pick?
Old Vic. What do you like? Where you're talking about? Like, I don't think I understood your question.
Old Vic, like Vic when he was old, when he was on the Jets. Would you rather have that Vic?
Justin Fields. Come on, old Vic on the Jets didn't run. He wasn't anywhere close to the player of old.
All right, so who was a better passer, Old Vic or Fields?
Michael Vick wasn't that good on the Jets. I would take Justin Fields.
All right, so you take Fields over Vic. I wouldn't. I would take old Vic over.
Are we talking
Fields.
about the Michael Vick that was on the 2014 Jets? That Michael Vick?
Yes, that Michael Vick.
No,
that Michael Vick. Or I think
Justin Fields.
I think it's a wash. I think if you put both of them together, it's a wash. Because I think Vic can pass a little bit better at old Vic than Fields would ever be able to pass.
I don't know. I think it's a bad take.
It feels like that team again. Like when Vic came to our team, that's what feels like to me.
No, because that version of Michael Vick wasn't electric. Justin Fields 2 seasons ago ran for 1,100 yards in a season.
Yeah, but that was 2 seasons ago. If we're going by that, then we can use old Vic standards. Old Vic, when he got to the Jets back in the day, he went crazy.
Can't though. You look at the ages of the players we're talking about. Michael, how old was Michael Vick when he was a Jet? He was
30. He was like 34, something like that.
And Justin Fields is 26. So you can't even compare.
And I'm still comparing. Oh no, man! I don't have any trust.
Go take Michael Vick at age 26 and compare him to age 24. He's still in the prime of his athletic career at that point. Justin Fields is still among the better athletes in the league.
All right, so prediction: how many touchdowns do you think Justin Fields will throw this year?
Hopefully at least 20. I mean,
so 20 is your high for Justin Fields.
Well, I'm hoping he could get at least 20. Yeah, I'm not super high on Fields, but you're killing Fields. Like if Peter Castro's the biggest Fields truther, you despise the guy.
I do. As if Aaron Glenn gets rid of Aaron Rodgers, right, to pick up a guy who can't throw the ball, it bothers me because we've never seen Fields throw the ball good. So for him to come in and be like, "Oh, this is the guy that's going to now make us," it doesn't make any sense to me. Like
unless they're right about him being an untapped player, and they can also utilize what he already does really well. Also, you act like Justin Fields is Tim Tebow throwing the ball. He's put up statistically in his last 12 starts. Look at his numbers. He's not incompetent. He could complete 60-something% of his passes and throw a couple touchdowns a game. I don't think that's crazy. Look at his tape at Ohio State.
Who's the better coach, Tomlin or Glenn?
Until proven otherwise, it's obviously Mike Tomlin.
And Mike Tomlin got rid of him.
Agreed. Mike Tomlin also wanted to keep him though, but the Jets wanted him
as a backup.
The Steelers did.
As a backup, he's a good backup.
He was gonna start for them, but they were trying to get Stafford. They were not going to wait around. The Jets gave Fields $30 million guaranteed.
Oh, no, I don't believe. I
looked it up, by the way. Do you remember Michael Vick with the Jets? He was 1-2.
He was horrible. He was horrible. That's why I'm comping him to Fields, because he was so bad.
He completed 53%
of
his passes. Do you think that Michael Vick? Do you think Justin Fields is going to complete 53% of his passes?
I hope. I don't believe in Fields at all. Nothing from Pittsburgh last year made you feel that he can throw the ball. Where you're like, oh my God, this guy can. I have no confidence in him. And I have no confidence in Glenn because I haven't seen Glenn do anything. So for Glenn to pass an Aaron, to have this guy, and now we're playing. So here's the question for you. If Aaron Rodgers' team comes in and whoops us and they play and they make the playoffs and then we lose and we look like crap this year, how does that look for Aaron Glenn?
I think it's a bad look. I agree with you.
So
but that hasn't happened yet. We're talking about these hypotheticals here. That hasn't happened.
I'm going by just how shit goes for us.
I get it, but eventually that hopefully has to. What if Aaron Glenn's actually good at being an NFL head coach, and this team is a real coach? I could play that game with you too.
We had the same combo when Saleh got hired. Saleh said all the right stuff too. He had us gassed that summer before the season started. Like he had us believing that this is all going to happen. I'm tired of believing because we've been through 10 different head coaches in so long. Like realistically, I don't know anything about Glenn.
It, but the Knicks were a disgrace until they weren't. Like eventually it changed when they hired the right people.
But Tibbs had done something. Tibbs had at least done something to be on his resume.
I agree with you, which is why I wanted an experienced coach. But I also can't sit here and say, well, just because Glenn's never been a head coach before, that automatically means he's going to be bad. Would I feel better if they had Mike Vrabel? Of course. But I can't sit here and write off Aaron Glenn immediately. He hasn't coached the game yet. He doesn't deserve a chance.
All right. So do you guys think is it logical or delusional that we're talking about Justin Fields having a breakout year this year?
I think it is logical because we've seen other young quarterbacks that were drafted very high recently do it.
But who are those players?
Sam Darnold,
Okay.
Baker Mayfield,
Okay.
Jared Goff, who comes from, and they're coming from the Lions. What was the thought? What was the thought about Jared Goff when he got traded for Stafford?
Right? All right. So Jared Goff went to the Super Bowl before he got traded.
Correct.
Those players that you're talking about, do you think those players are on the same level as Fields or better than Fields?
I think Darnold and Fields are very similar with their career so far.
You think that Fields can do what Darnold did last year?
They're different players. I think Fields could be a good. If you tell me if Fields maximizes his potential, what does it look like? That to me is a top 10 quarterback in the league from a talent standpoint. Yes. He was the 11th. He was the 11th pick in the draft. Sam Darnold went from the Jets to Carolina, then a year in San Francisco, then finally to the Vikings. Fields has gone Chicago, year in Pittsburgh, now with the Jets. They both have bounced around. Baker Mayfield, Cleveland, goes to Carolina, then
to the Rams.
The Rams for like 3 weeks, then
and
found a home in Tampa. Like it's happened. It does happen.
So we're waiting based upon those 4 out of all the other players that have been top drafts that just sucked, because it's most likely that he's going to suck.
Or he's not going to be the long-term guy. Look, I wanted to keep Aaron Rodgers, so I agree with like what you're saying, but I'm also not going to sit here and act like there's no scenario where Justin Fields at age 26 can't be decent. Like these are his numbers over his last 12 games. Like they're not terrible. 17 passing/rushing touchdowns, an 8-4 record, and he statistically has improved. His completion percentage has gotten better. His turnovers have gone down. Like he is someone that has a lot of talent. You can't get picked as high as he did and put up the numbers he did in college if you don't have some talent.
I agree that he has talent to run the ball. I don't think he can pass the ball. That's my only knock on him. If I ever saw him pass the ball where I'm like, yo, this guy can actually deliver, then I'd be like, wow. But
did Jalen Hurts look like a world beater? His first year, he looked terrible when he first played.
I never thought Jalen Hurts was a good quarterback. Like
he's obviously gotten better, right? So that's what the Jets are betting on, right? That's what we're saying. So, chances are Fields is not the guy long term, but at least we have a year to determine if he might be. If they sign someone else that's like Carson Wentz, we know what the year is going to be. They're not going anywhere. We're going to be talking about what quarterback are they taking in the first round. We'd be doing mock drafts now. At least with Fields, there's a chance. It's recently been done where guys with his pedigree have turned their careers around.
So this is the experiment season with the new head coach, basically.
Yes, it is. It's year one of a new regime. It is.
All right, I'll take that. If it's the experiment season, because that's what I'm going to label it as. Asterisk the experiment season, because I don't think Fields is going to do anything for our team. I think he's just a stop on the way to another quarterback.
Once they moved on from Rodgers, though, who did you want? That'd be my question to you.
I'm not mad that they got him. I'm just mad that he can't pass the ball. Like, I'm not mad at Fields. I don't hate Fields. I'm just mad that he doesn't have the skill that most quarterbacks have.
Yeah, but most quarterbacks can't run like he can. He's dynamic. You could build an offense around that. That's what they're trying to do. That's why they took a right tackle to go with the other 4 starters on the O-line they already had in place. That's why they didn't trade Breece Hall, and they have Braylon Allen, and they have Isaiah Davis.
The reason why I asked you the quarterback total touchdowns, because I wanted to see where you would rate him. 20 to you is his max. So that
I said I'm hoping 20. I don't know. There's this season between the coach and the quarterback is the ultimate unknown. We have no idea. It is the truly ultimate unknown on what this team is and what they're going to be.
Well, that's all I had. I just basically, I don't understand why everyone is up on Fields. Like I don't mind having Fields, but I don't think Fields is a good quarterback. So when people get in the chat and it just Fields, it's building up that thing for us to be disappointed, because
they want to believe in something. That's why.
Yeah, I know, but believe in something else, because that guy is not the answer.
There's nothing to believe in. This team can't be any good if the quarterback play is trash.
That's my point. Originally, when we got Fields, you said 6 wins. Now 6 wins has jumped to 8 and 9 wins.
No,
9 wins
I'm not there. No. I'm between 4 and 6 wins. I am. Do not lump me in with the 9 and 8 people or 13 and 4. No.
That's where I'm at.
No,
I'm at 6 wins, and if he does anything to be a regular quarterback, maybe 8 and 9 would be what we end up at. But I don't see him just stepping out and being this great quarterback after watching him play for 3 years, and he's not been great.
Well, did you think Sam Darnold was going to be great and win 14 games this past year? You never know. That's why you play the games.
Sam Darnold had an awesome coach, so that's the unknown. Whether Aaron Glenn can do what they did with Sam Darnold. I don't know if that can happen, but as it looks, it doesn't look good to me. That's my only gripe with everyone in the chat. And I don't
Stop
mind
pissing
everyone.
at everyone's cornflakes. That's according to Rick Kent.
Well, I kind of want to, because everyone's just throwing fucking presents at me saying this is the greatest thing. Fields, yay, birthday gift. We didn't get a great gift.
Black
we got a gift
Gypsy,
that we're like,
what's your jersey size? I want to send you a Justin Fields jersey. All right.
I'll wear it. I'll wear it. I have no problem wearing it. He's a Jet, so I'll wear it. Like, I have an Aaron Rodgers jersey, so I mean, let's go with the 1
I have
2 year
about
quarterback
7 of them
jersey.
in my closet. You want one of those too?
It is what it is. I love my quarterbacks. I love my Jet players. I'm loyal to my players. I'm just going to state the fact that I don't think Fields is a great player. Like, it's just from what I've seen, like Darnold's highs were better than Fields' highs to me. But people like Fields because he can run the ball. I think Darnold is a better overall passer. I think Baker is a better passer. Like, I just don't see it, like, from the way he's played. So I hope and I wish that he does good. But I am going to piss in people's, you know what I mean? Until he does something. Until he proves me wrong, I'm going to have to be on his ass because I just don't believe.
Black Gypsy, everybody. One of the greats. We've had some takes today on the show. Backport Sports. WTF is this take? Fields clears by a mile, bro. Vic barely started. Michael Vick sucked as a Jet. Let's remember that, Black Gypsy. Go back and watch those games. Rick Kent, super chat. He's in for 2. I was at the game in San Diego in 2014 when Vic started because Gino went to the movies instead of the Saturday walkthrough. Vic was completely unprepared to play, and the Jets lost 31-0. That was the worst game ever. Kyle Clifton with a $10 super chat in the raffle for 2. People are out here torching Frankie V, Fields, and Ray Lewis, but at the end of the day, the real villain, Arian Smith, is strutting around unscathed. What a show this has been, huh? So this is for Black Gypsy. Do you respect Louis Riddick? This was Louis Riddick on SportsCenter. Ignore Dan Graziano's weird face that ESPN just left up for some reason.
If I were to say, and perhaps I would say it hopefully, Justin Fields is going to have a career year in 2025. Is that ridiculous?
Not ridiculous at all. Again, Greeny, look, this offensive line in New York, which is where it all starts for these young quarterbacks. They got 3 first-round picks and a number 2 pick. I mean, a second-round pick on this offensive line. They've got to be better. They've got to establish the run, especially with the running backs that they have as well. And look, Tanner Engstrand, the new offensive coordinator, and we said it before, it's staring him right in the face as far as what, philosophically the approach should be for this team. Quarterback run, feature the running backs, lean on this offensive line, play action pass. So could Justin Fields have a career year which would primarily be comprised of 20-plus touchdown passes, 3K plus in passing yards, 800 plus in rushing yards? I absolutely could see it happening. And that would be a career year for him. I don't see why, if this team stays on the field in terms of everyone staying healthy, that Justin can't have that kind of year.
I don't think that's crazy either. There's talent on this team, Black Gypsy. You talk about Fields, what he hasn't done. Well, he's also never had, in theory, an O-line that should be as good as the Jets O-line is projected to be. A running game. He's got Garrett Wilson, who has built-in chemistry with already. It's not nothing. Mason Taylor figures to be a good player. We know Fields statistically is the 3rd best in the NFL throwing to his tight end. If you look at QBR. And look, Louis Riddick's opinion is not gospel, but it's not just Jet fans that feel this way. People that study football for a living. They like it. They like him. Ladies and gentlemen, more of your calls. Brian Glick is next. Hello, Brian.
What's up, Jake? If I recall correctly, Louis Riddick interviewed for the Jets GM job.
He did.
He studied the Jets roster. He would know all the free agents, would have a plan. It's not like he was just throwing out a whole bunch of garbage. And as far as Fields passing, what about that 300 and change yards, 3 touchdowns from week 4 of last year? So you can go and find the stats that back up any argument. But my call today is about AVT, about locking up your homegrown talent. And I'm not Jeff anymore. I'll just be Brian Glick. Thank you, chat. if we extend AVT, he's counting at 15 million, right? He's on the 5th year. A guard of his caliber is in the $13 million a year range. If you extend him now, remember the tag is like 26 mil for a guard next year. So you get on it now and you extend him. We can free up some cap space, and we have got to get Sauce and Wilson next. So AVT, Sauce, Wilson, whatever order you want. I would start with AVT to make some more room, and then I will. Thank you. That I'm less handsome than that. I would say this: any extra cash we shouldn't be running out to spend. We need to roll that cash over for next year to cover up some of these dead cap hits. It's tremendous again next year. So we'll all be sitting here next year, playing our violin song because there's not a lot of cap. Hopefully it goes up tremendously and that all doesn't matter. And we've got our QB locked up for year 2 for a reasonable rate. That would mean something to us. So that if all things go well, that's what we're looking at. I don't think we're tanking this year. I don't think we're making the Super Bowl. I think we're a mediocre team with solid talent, with great coaching. We can play well. And I'm stoked for this year. I got a whole bunch of Jets tickets in my Apple Wallet. I'm excited. I'm flying in for week 1. I'm excited.
I hope you see a win, Brian, because
4 losses last year, Jake. 4.
You're coming a long way to see them play week 1.
I am. It's worth it. I'm coming back to see the Cleveland game in November, and then I'm flying to New Orleans to see the New Orleans game. So
you poor bastard. Good. I hope you see some wins. I really do.
I'll see the Yankees at least week 1. They're playing the Braves or something like that. So I'll see at least one win that weekend.
I hope. Let's hope they're comfortably in first place by the time we get to September in the AL East.
Yeah. My talks are too salient. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm at work, so I'm supposed to sound like I'm competent or halfway competent. Thanks for taking my call,
Brian.
Rick Kent's the man. Solid points in the chat as always, Mr. Kent. Love
Ladies
that.
and gentlemen, the great Brian Olglick. He's no longer Coach Brick. Instead, he's Brian Olglick. Amazing. All right, more calls. Papa Jet, you're next. What's up, Papa?
Do you have me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. Yeah, I missed all of last week because I was in Maine for my son's wedding, so hopefully I didn't miss some good stuff there.
How was the wedding?
Good. Very small, just immediate family basically, but it was nice scenery there,
Yeah. You missed that, but it's okay.
I don't know why I deserve that, but and I heard
you don't deserve
you
that,
in the Poconos.
Mets fan 2128. He deserved that.
Oh, okay. You're at the Poconos?
I was in the Poconos.
Yeah, that's where I honeymooned, actually.
Really?
Because I was afraid to fly back then. Nice area. But as far as Fields go, or Sauce, I think you have to pay him. I think the first 2 years is what he is and not last year. I don't know. I think he hurt his hamstring or whatever, but I think he was more hurt last year than the team let on because he was getting beat. I mean, just simple routes, and which made him hold a lot. I just think he was hurt more than the team let on. And as far as Fields, that's all we got. So I'm going to get behind him and just hope. That's all we got is the hope. Hope we get out of this ditch,
Well, Papa Jet, that's the goal, to hopefully have a long-term answer at quarterback. But if he's not, he's not. I mean, he's the best path to it. Otherwise, you can't find a franchise quarterback if one didn't exist. I didn't think one existed in the draft at number 7. I would have taken one if someone I felt confident in was there. I don't think there was. I think other teams felt the same way. That's why you only had 2 quarterbacks go in the first round, and one of them was by a team that was incredibly desperate to get a quarterback in Jackson Dart. At the end of round 1, they traded up for him. Like you can't just force a franchise quarterback to be there in the draft. Sometimes there isn't. Next year, it's a way better class. Fields doesn't prove definitively he's the guy they're going to draft the quarterback. More calls right now.
G51. G52.
Quiet, I'm almost gonna win this. We're gonna win this. We're gonna win this. Can we do it? Can we do it? Come on, one more. Come on, come on. Let's see if you can do it. Can you do it? Damn it! It's all right. It's okay. Don't it?
All right, more of your calls right now, ladies and gentlemen. Joining us right now on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline. We got two legends on the line. Here we go.
Well, he's home sitting in a chair, 'cause his back hurts. On the road, he's sitting in a chair, in an upgraded hotel room. He calls the show his ass is in a chair. His wife thinks he's weird. He got a beard. He loves the Jets, the Super Chats. He's a big fella. He's all alone in a room on a chair. That's a big fella.
Hey man, Frankie was doing so good, but just like Corbett reaching for that first down, bro, it was just a little too far, and he fumbled, man. And damn, Frankie was funny because Frankie said when he first started, right? Oh, Sauce tweeted about not about missing a tackle in a game, and he was so upset and stuff, right? What's up? What are you looking at, bro?
Go back and listen to your call, and then call us back, and you'll know what I'm talking about. What did you eat, big fella? That was the best big fella call ever. It felt like Charles Gordon was in the background. Was his car gassy and haunted, or one or the other causing that? And you guys know me, I'll laugh at a fart joke anytime, so I was not going to be able to keep it together. Anyway, more of your calls while we wait for the return of Big Fella.
Joe Douglas should have been fired 2 days before he was hired.
What's up, Jake?
Hello, Gary.
How are you, sir?
I'm good. I think your microphone is not connected to the StreamYard. It's your just regular laptop mic.
Oh, shoot. Really?
Just go into your audio settings and see what it says.
Hang on.
You sound okay, though. We hear you. You're just louder than normal.
That's not what it says.
You're good.
Wait, hang on.
We hear
Does that change
you. You're fine. Yeah, go ahead.
Does that change anything?
You sound great.
Okay. All right. Does it sound the same now?
You sound good. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Oh, weird. All right. As far as Frankie, here's my point about Sauce Gardner. If he has a year like he did last year, I'd be hesitant to pay him $30 million a year. If he goes back to the way he played his first 2 years, it's a steal, figuring the way that salaries go up every year. I'm not even saying he was bad last year. I thought he was pretty good. And it's not a terrible contract, but $30 million for what you got last year isn't egregious, but it's an overpay. It is. So, I know if you wait and see one more year and he plays like he did his first 2 years, that ask is going to go through the roof again, right? Like $30 million it's like Jalen Brunson. No, that contract's done. We're not doing 30. We're doing
think about it, Gary. If he's a first-team All-Pro for the third time in 4 years, and Stingley just reset the market at $30 million a year, Sauce could ask for 40, and he probably won't get 40. But the number is going to be completely different than if you just do it now. If you believe in the character on the guy, if this coaching staff has come in, has evaluated him, they think he's truly as good as what they have said publicly about him. I would just get out in front of it now. I think it sends the right message to your team. I think they did that with Sherwood. It was smart. I think doing that with Sauce and Garrett before the year starts, I think that's smart for your locker room. It's smart for your new regime to set the tone that we pay our own, and you go from there.
I agree. And the other point I always make is it's easier to keep your own than it is to go sign someone else's, right? Like, you already have a connection. You can resign him right now. If you think they're, and I don't like, what safety what cornerback do you think is going to be out on the market a year or two from now that's as good as Sauce Gardner, who's going to play for $25 million a year, like you said? That guy doesn't exist.
Tremaine Johnson. Like, this is what I'm talking about. If you don't pay your own and then you go to free agents to try and solve your problems, you get shit players like that.
And then you're gonna have to compete against 31 other teams who want a cornerback too. It's like, if you have him here, just keep him here, even if it comes at a slight overpay. But if you get him at $30 million a year, 3 years from now, when he's still under that contract, we could be looking at that. That's a really team-friendly deal. It's never going to be that bad. It's never going to be an egregiously bad contract, right? Like, even if he plays like he did last year, he's still probably a top 10 cornerback in the league.
Agreed. I think he was better than that last year, for what it's worth.
Right. So it's never going to be, it's never going to be Ben Simmons. Right? He's never going to be Le'Veon Bell. It's never going to be that. It might just be a little bit of overpay, but at least you got your guy. And it's not going to stop us from getting a quarterback. We're going to either keep Fields next year or get a rookie on a rookie deal. So it's not going to get in our way of getting a quarterback in any way, shape, or form. I didn't know what Frankie meant with that at all. And look, he said he was for drafting him. I wasn't against drafting him. I just would have took Thibodeau. That was the guy I wanted.
I wanted the pass rusher too. Yeah, I didn't think that the Jets were going to use that high of a pick on a corner. I'm glad they did what they did. That was a good pick.
It did. It worked out. But that's my point. It worked out. Like, if you did that draft over again, you'd probably take Sauce all over again, right?
If you redrafted, by the way, Sauce goes ahead of Stingley, who's already been paid. Still, he goes ahead of Stingley. And also, if we're redrafting, Sauce also probably goes second overall in that case, right? Because it would go Hutchinson would go 1. Walker wouldn't go before Sauce. He had a pretty good year this past year. He's gotten better, but he hasn't been an all-pro player like Sauce has been twice. I think it would go Hutchinson because of the position. It'd go Sauce, then maybe Stingley, and then Walker. Like, maybe. I'd have to relook. There were some really good players in that class.
Thibodeau's been a really good pro. Where would you put Thibodeau?
He's
been really good. He's been really good.
By the way, Garrett would go higher than number 10 that year, too. I got to pull up the 2022 draft. There were a lot of really good players.
Yeah, because Drake London went before him. And you would take Garrett
and London's
Wilson
good.
way before him.
Yeah, I would take Garrett before. London's actually a good player, though. Like, he's turned into a good player. Keem Aquan stinks. Evan Neal stinks.
Who would you rather have, Garrett or Drake? Everyone would take Garrett Wilson. I think, right?
I think most would. I'll tell you who'd go a lot higher in this draft. McDuffie would go a lot higher in this draft. It depends how teams feel about safety. Kyle Hamilton's really good. He went 14 this draft. Would he go a little higher now? Probably, because Evan Neal would drop. Keem Aquan would definitely drop. Jordan Davis. I mean, Jordan Davis would have been a top 5 pick if he didn't have the driving stuff that came out. So it's a really good draft class when you look back on it.
Then Frankie obviously had some type of issue with Sauce. And I didn't.
Frankie actually used to be called Sauce back in the day, and Sauce kind of stole all the popularity with that nickname.
What's he in this high school's Hall of Fame for?
He was a hell of a high school player.
Was he? Was he really good?
Apparently, I don't know.
Apparently, clearly, someone thinks so.
I wasn't there. I didn't go to high school with him.
I thought that was a joke. I thought that was a guy that just looked like him. No, it was actually him.
No. He was supposed to come on the show Friday, but he told me he forgot he had his high school Hall of Fame induction that night. So I wanted to surprise him by asking him about it on the show.
He forgot he had it? I guess it's not too much of a... I mean, it looks like an honor, right? I mean, I don't know.
How many Hall of Fames are you in?
0. Right. Hall of Fames. Yeah.
I'm not in any Hall of Fame either, so that's pretty cool. Well, actually, I'm in the Ithaca College Radio Hall of Fame, but I mean, anyone can.
Good for you.
If you graduate and you happen to do radio, they'll put you in. So I don't really consider that much of an accomplishment.
All right, fair enough. I'm in 0 Hall of Fame, and I don't think I'll ever make a Hall of Fame either.
Maybe we need to do the ASMANIAC Hall of Fame.
I depending on who's on the committee, who's on the panel, I may or may not make that one. But what's his personal issue? Like, you know why I don't like Garrett Wilson, but I would never say not to sign Garrett Wilson. You should sign Garrett Wilson. What is his issue with Sauce? Like, why doesn't he like him?
I don't know. I mean, he's going to claim that it's not personal, that he just doesn't like him as a player. I don't know. It to me, his logic with his arguments didn't make sense. That's what I was trying to focus on.
Which, yeah, because he said he was a top 3 talent, but he could be a top 3 cornerback. I understand last year was a down year. Granted, it still was not. It was still pretty good. Like, it's still a good cornerback.
Right.
It wasn't. He wasn't getting burnt. He wasn't. He had some tackle issues, and some of his missed tackles were glaring. But there's a handful of plays over a course of a season. It's like you could do that with almost anyone. They were glaring though, but it's a handful of plays where he didn't look good. I thought it was overrated last year when everyone was beating up on him. I was like, he's still play in, play out. He's still a very good cornerback.
Correct. I mean, yeah, I can't answer it. I mean, it's his opinion. What do you want me? I can't speak for him.
Yeah. And as far as Justin Fields, I feel like this is a 50-50 dart throw. I feel like he's going to be – I don't feel like it can be that bad. Like, it's not going to be that bad. But the point is fair, right? The Steelers, who know what they're doing, wanted Rodgers and not Fields. It's true. Yeah. Right? And we had Rodgers and not Fields, and now we have Fields and not Rodgers. It's like –
and they have the more proven organization and head coach.
Yeah. That's what's the most concerning is the smart people in the room said, "Oh, we want," and I wanted to keep Rodgers too. When we didn't keep him, I thought Fields was the best option, and that's what we got. And I've always been high on Fields in the past, so I'm going to stick with that. I think Fields has a high upside. Hopefully, he figures it out here. Hopefully, they come up with an offense that fits him. And I'll let you go. My son's screaming.
Tell Morgan we say hello if she's there. She's there? All right. If you call back, no wait time. We'll bring both of you on immediately. All right.
Plants are trying to kill me, so I think I'll eat a stick of butter. Yeah, ladies
and gentlemen, we check back in right now with the big fella. Dude,
I don't know what the hell that was, man.
Did you enjoy my facial reactions?
Yeah, I was like, what is he doing? Yeah, I don't know what that was, man. It was the connection and just like the car. And I brought my phone into the pool the other day, so that might have messed things up. But I'm back at the desk, man. So
you weren't with Gorman?
What?
You weren't with Charles Gorman?
No. Even though the flatulator is everywhere. But getting to Frankie. He started out good. But then he went to that 6th take, bro. And he starts talking about how he was pissed because Sauce tweeted about a tackle that he missed, and he was all upset about that. But then in the same breath, he said, but tackling, I don't care about tackling. And I'm just like, what? It was like the biggest end around ever. It's like I was on Sauce's ass last year about like him missing tackles and stuff like that. I still would sign him. He's a great cover corner. But for him to say, "Oh, he should have never tweeted that about the tackling and stuff like that," but tackling doesn't matter. It's like, then what's your point, bro? What's your point?
Also, I think the tweet is also just like frustrating. Like I got to pull up what it exactly was, but it was after that play where he had the bad, he didn't make the tackle on I think it was Trey McBride who got a huge first down on a third down play, and Samini tweeted the film of that and wrote this was like the biggest play of the game for the Jets. Like,
yeah,
and Sauce was offended that Rich basically isolated that one play in a game the Jets lost 34-0 and made that the reason why they lost. He's pissed. He wants to win. He was frustrated. These guys don't love losing, and then you go on social media and you're taking a beating there. Like, I wish these guys wouldn't tweet either, but I'm not going to say that means he's a bad guy and not pay him because of that. Like, that to me is crazy.
Bro, they all do. They all tweet. I mean, they shouldn't tweet negative stuff about the team or stuff like that, or stuff that causes controversy, but everybody uses social media.
Correct.
And for Ice Spice, you see, I was nervous about Sauce dating Ice Spice, not because of she's a rapper or anything. I just thought it would be a distraction because she's a celebrity and she's a big celebrity. And I thought that would be the issue with me. But, you know, I mean, Sauce has been bought into Aaron Glenn since he got hired. I mean, he was there in the voluntary mini camps and stuff, right? He, you know, he's been taking in all the information. He's been a good teammate. That stuff that Frankie was saying was not called for him. Not at all. He never asked for a trade. He never, you know, he's never gone after a teammate. You know, he's always been that guy. So, you know, I don't know where he was coming with that, you know, because, you know, Frankie's a lot of things, but that was weird. That was weird. I mean, Frankie says a lot of shit, but that shit was weird because it was like it came out of nowhere, you know? Like if he thinks Rattler's a good quarterback or whatever, I know he's full of shit, but it's like, okay, that's your opinion, whatever. But there's been no proof of Sauce being a bad teammate, you know?
Correct.
So that's just my thing with him. You know, I didn't get it today. I really didn't understand. So.
I'll tell you what, he did start a lot of conversation though. So I do appreciate. Where else are you getting a 2 hour and 30-minute show on just the Jets in June? And we haven't done any of our usual madness on the show. It's been mostly football for 2.5 hours in June. So yeah,
it's been great.
I love it.
No, it's been great. I mean, Frankie will get that rage bait going, man. He will definitely get that rage bait going.
I think he does it without knowing it too, which is so funny.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I don't think he's a bad guy. I really don't.
I don't think he's. I think it just like I think it was unfair to say Sauce is a bad character guy or whatever. Like I don't think that's fair about Frankie at all. I think Frankie's a good guy. He has a sports opinion. We think it's crazy, but it's an opinion.
Yeah. And I mean, for the shit that he comes out with, it should be expected by now, you know? So, so I don't know. That's all I got, man. I got to get this connection fixed with my phone and stuff because I don't want that sound to happen again sometime.
Or don't, because honestly, I enjoyed it.
I don't know how I should take that, man. but all right. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the big fella. Folks, earlier, speaking of audio issues, earlier we took a call from a guy who sounded like he was underwater, like he was in a submarine. I'm not sure if in the 8 hours since I took that call, he's made the improvements that we're hoping he's made. We'll find out right now.
Hello, I'm Mikey. I'm Bobby's little bro. Have you seen Jake Graves? She's so beautiful. I love my boy Jake, but not in a gay way. I am so happy. I'm not gonna touch anything, I promise.
Hey Jake, you hear me?
What's the temperature in the water, Mikey?
You hear me?
Is it
I
hot?
don't
Is
know.
it
I had
cold?
no clue. I had no clue.
Where are the fishes?
Let me swim at Nick's house. He's swimming at Nick's house.
Hey, Mikey, go like this with your arms.
Yeah.
Maybe do a little backstroke.
Yeah. Yeah, I do it. Yeah. You're the best, Jake.
Now
You're
say
the
just
best.
keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
Yeah. I had to tell Bobby that had this stupid computer working. I love you, Jake. You're the best. I'm a homeboy. You're still my homeboy, right?
I love you too, Mikey. How's the aquarium?
Yeah. And you take. I had to take the day off today because my bathroom was flooded with water.
Do they still call you the wet bandit?
And my bathroom was flooded through the rain this whole weekend. Through my weekend off.
Is your new name Mikey Phelps?
No, Mikey A was the best Jet fan that kicked ass in America.
Where's SpongeBob?
SpongeBob? It's in his underwear. It's in his underwear.
Does he live in a pineapple under the sea?
Hello, I'm Mikey. I'm Bobby's little bro. Have you seen Jake Graves? She's so beautiful. I love my boy Jake, but not in a gay way. I am so happy. I'm not gonna touch anything, I promise.
Mikey's the man. Mikey, I can't wait for your audio to be fixed because your picture has never looked so clear. But now we just got to get the microphone figured out. Steven NYC is up next. What's up, Steven?
How you doing, my friend?
How are you, Steven?
I'm good. I'm good. I just think one thing that's important to discuss: what team has really tried and wanted Justin Fields to succeed? I mean, you can't deny they're all in, right? I mean, we're all in, and the contract and the salary cap and everything going up 20% every year. Let me tell you something. And one other thing, he's a running quarterback. We've never had one.
Correct.
Do you know running quarterbacks are against 10, not 11? Right?
Running quarterbacks are against 10
defenders instead of 11. Someone has to shadow Justin Fields.
Okay, I see. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to account for Fields on pretty much
When
every
have we
play.
ever had that advantage?
Never.
How about having the best athlete possibly on the field at all times?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how good he is. On top of that, we're all in. We might be wrong. But Chicago,
It's a
we
one-year
were all in, but
commitment.
They were looking at Caleb, right, a couple of years later. They weren't ready, and they did not have that first year. Second year, they maybe tried, not really, until now, what they're doing for Caleb. Pittsburgh didn't want him to succeed, really. I mean, they didn't really care, right? It was really, are we doing Russell instead of
Well, he was a backup. I mean, they brought in Russ to be the starter, and Fields was the hold the fort guy until Russ was healthy.
Exactly. So that's what I mean. So listen, we might be wrong in buying into him, but like you keep saying, what was our alternative? And if it would have been much more half-assed to take him in and not commit and not go all in. It's cheap. It makes sense. He's athletic. And guess what? People were saying, take him instead of Zach. Wasn't that the year? It was Zach, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, people have liked Fields for a while. He's shown more than Zach Wilson has, that's for sure.
And guess what? He has the best offensive line he's ever had.
Yep.
Arguably, Garrett's the best receiver he's ever had. Najee Harris was okay last year. Got rid of him, so I don't think they really were focused on him. So they have the best running attack they've ever had. They didn't have the backups like Braylon and Isaiah Davis. Defensive-wise, good defense. Let me tell you something. And a coach and an organization that's all in. So he should have his best year. And by the way, look at his numbers. As bad as we think he is, 16-9, 17 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 11. Is overall, I'm bullish, and you want to be bullish. But most importantly, back to the Garrett and signing these guys, we have to have faith in finance. I'm a finance guy. You know what? It goes up 20%. DJ Reed just got what? At his age. Do you know what he just signed? I looked it up. I think he's like at $18 million a year. So yeah, Sauce is going to get there. You sign these guys, and if at worst they become overpaid, he's not going to be a scrub, and it might be the greatest signing of all time, because if everything stays the same, his 30 times 20% makes the next guy 35 or 36 if it's a valuable position, and we know it is. So between him, Jermaine, with a quarterback being paid $20 million for the next two at worst, if we go to a rookie, we have 5 more years of cap relief. And what's Tyrod making? Is he a $10 million guy this year? 7 years.
He's one of the higher paid players on the team if you look
Which
at it.
is work, right?
Yeah.
So he goes away. So let these guys be finance guys, right? Let's sign Garrett, Sauce, Jermaine, Brees. We'll figure it out. But guess what? That we have a core, and with the salary cap going up every year, they end up being bargains. Like you keep saying, and like anyone who's smart is looking at, the best organizations sign earlier, not too late, early. Too early is better than too late. And guess what? You do it when the quarterback is cheap. And we are going to have a cheap quarterback for at least 2 to maybe 6 years if we have to draft another one.
Agreed.
This is the time to pull him in. The NFL contract isn't going down, and this is the time to do it and buy in and have a absolute roster. We'll figure out the quarterback, and I think maybe we did. Maybe we did.
Steven, great job, man. Great calls, great points. That was one of your best calls ever. Well done, sir. NY Jets, Florida. Will you be drinking after the show? After. How about during? Anything is possible. All right, we'll do one more call, and then last chance to get in the raffle. Giving you guys a chance to win a dad hat, an AsManiac dad hat. Kick off Father's Day week. Hulk Smash. What do you got for us, Hulk?
Yo, what's going on, Jake? How you feeling, man?
What's up, man?
Yeah, nothing much. Long time no speak, man. I know how you. How's everything?
I can't complain.
I gotta say, man, that take that I was just listening to, man, that take kind of got my blood boiling. Not so much because I'm a homer, just mainly because like you're talking about Sauce's character and all of this and all of that. Like the young man has not done anything to sit here and garnish any type of negativity. Like he had one down year on a bad team. Like, and you want to sit here and talk about the people that he's dating and the tweet. Like, come on, man, it's 2025. Everybody tweets. It, like, especially in sports nowadays. Like, all you see is these high name, big profile athletes doing nothing but tweeting how they feel. So how are you going to sit here and talk about? He's literally Sauce Gardner. If on any other team, he is the best player on that team, and because he's on the Jets, this is how you want to talk about him? Like, come on, man, it didn't make any sense to me. Like, he literally is one of our best defensive players that we've had since who? Revis? Like, come on, it doesn't make any sense.
I agree with you
at all.
And it's interesting because this fan base loves to give second, third, fourth, fifth chances to like Zach Wilson and other players. But Sauce Gardner on a down year for his standards, not a bad year overall, but for his standards, he was not close to the first team All-Pro he was his first 2 years. We're out on him, but we want to believe Zach Wilson's the guy. And like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make sense. And the crazy thing is he went like, and I'm sorry, like I gotta go on the take because the take really made me like as a fan of this organization, as a fan of this team, we finally have some semblance of players.
Hulk, we're losing with the connection, but we got your point. Call back more, man. Good to get you on the show. Great takes. We're aligned there. Like Sauce's quote-unquote down year would be career years for a lot of players in the league at his position. That's the standard we're holding him to because he was that good. And look, there's things I would like for him to continue to get better at. I do think he's got to take the ball away more. I think there's something to that. But I also can't just judge him based on interceptions because Revis never had a lot of picks either towards the end of his like prime with the Jets because he didn't throw his way. But there are moments where Sauce maybe has the ball in his hands. He's got to come up with that. That's a fair criticism. Doesn't mean you wouldn't pay him. Doesn't mean he's not one of the better players in the league at his position. He's a really good football player, man. We don't need to overthink this stuff. Big fellow with a shout out to Steven's call. Says great call. Love it. I agree. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. It's been a long show, but I promise you, if you're just tuning in, you've missed a lot because it has been a wild one. All right? It has been wild. It has been crazy. And we still have a raffle prize to give away.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
We have a prize to give away. The wheel is up on the screen. Now I need my music, please. That's right. All the names are right here. And it's time to give away a dad hat on the show. If you entered the raffle, you're in for the rest of the season. Or you're in rest of the season. You're in for the rest of the week in regards to our Joe Namath full-sized raffle that we're planning to do Friday. Now we spin a wheel. Who's winning the dad hat? The answer? Let's find out. JoJo! Ironically, JoJo's a member of the 4% female demographic, but that's okay. It's only called a dad hat, but it's a unisex hat. JoJo, congratulations. You're an awesome supporter of the channel. And if you're still watching, please email me the address to send your dad hat to. I have it in green and black. Here's the green one. You can go on my website, jakeasman.com, if you want to see what the black one looks like. But congrats to JoJo. Well-deserved win, and appreciate everyone who contributed to the program today. That's a show, folks. And oh boy, was it a wild one. We'll be talking about this one for maybe a day or so. Let's be real. A lot of other crazy shit will happen as usual, and we'll be on to that. But for the meantime, it was fun. Oh, wow. It's Knobcraft's birthday. Happy birthday to Knobcraft, an OG listener of this program. Happy birthday, Knob. JoJo's here, and she says, I am here. Thanks so much, Jake. JoJo, AsmanJake at Gmail. I think you're on Discord as well, so if you want to message me there, that works. Totally up to you, but I will make sure once I get your address, you tell me what color hat you want, we get it out to you. Knob says, I love you, Addison. Well, there you go. Beast, any final thoughts?
No, not really. It was a great show, but the next time you and Frankie go out, I'm gonna get in the ring. I'm gonna separate you both. You both were out of line.
How would that look? How would that look? What would that look like?
I would have to separate you both and just tell you, hey, wait in your corner until I give the bell. And the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have both.
That's all, folks. Thank you for watching. We are back tomorrow. Jets are on the field. Robbie Sabo live from practice, after practice tomorrow. Glenn is speaking. We got players speaking. Mini camp week is here, so I can't wait. Again, thank you all. Couldn't do this show without you. My name is Jake Asman. If you're still watching this, you know that. I'll talk to you guys next time. Jets, 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 Jets. And hey, Frankie, pay Sauce Gardner.
Let's go.
Is Brock Purdy gonna run for his life on the opener? Yeah! Let's go. Jets, 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 Jets. Let's go.
Oh, yeah. You know what time it is. You tried to throw him away, but this man's coming back. Sometimes he's fat or thin. That waistband makes him slim. He's got the fix you need. They call him sexy, Rexy.
Fuck Gruden, he's no Jet. I'm here to crack some skulls. I'll turn these boys to men. This team is stacked with pros. Hire me, you won't break your purse. I'm here to break the curse. They call me sexy, Rexy. Fuck all you naysayers.
Sexy.
He's sexy, sexy, sexy. He's sexy, sexy, sexy. He's sexy, sexy, sexy. He's sexy, sexy.
Excuse me.
Let's get brick up.
Excuse me.